do this.
I would rather do a raid or an ambush than this. So nervous for this. Not ever before, like I'm trolling them. It's funny. Go, guys.
Astronauts to the moon.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
Are you ready? Debate fans, are you ready? For the handful in attendance and the thousands watching across the world, brought to you tonight by Jeranism, the #1 YouTube channel in all of existence. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Make sure your argument is tight. Wait, what? You must got proof if you so right. Wait, what? Don't get dismissed on false claims, cause you gotta bring the truths and the facts. It don't matter if you're talking about racism, sexism, scientism, paganism, socialism, communism. Talk about capitalism, atheism, globalism. What about creationism? It don't matter what the flag on debateism.
Angular resolution refers to how large of an object a person can see. Humans have no limit to our vision, but we can't resolve anything.
Kind of interrupted my intro there. Nice job, Ozien. Welcome, everybody, to DEBATISM X. It is time for you to listen. It's time to have a clock and actually get some conversation going. Let's show you who is on for tonight. It's the first ever tag team matchup. We've got Ozien and Craig going against Dave, Sovereign Soul, and Dawn Dassault. So let's bring them on, make sure everybody is good to go, and we should be ready to get it on. Let's see here. We got to get. All right. Welcome, everybody. Let's just say hello to everybody. First, we've got Craig over here. Craig, say hello. Everybody loves you so much here on this channel.
How you doing? Thank you for having me on again. This should be fun. I've been looking forward to this one. If you don't know who I am, you can find me on the YouTube channel FTFE. I'm an ex-military nuclear engineer, and I very much enjoy these conversations. Let's have fun.
Tremendous. And we've got your tag team partner, Ozien, first time on the show. Welcome, Ozien.
Thank you. I opened up PowerPoint and it just started playing. Sorry about that.
We noticed. So. Yes, we were here. Tell people where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
I run a YouTube channel called Matters Now. Thank you for having me.
All right. And your opponents this evening will be starting with Sovereign Soul, Unchained Mind. Dave, say hello to everybody.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. You can find me on YouTube at Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Also on Rumble at SSUM 369. I believe that we are on a level stationary topographical plane contained within a dynamic fluid pressure system, that the heliocentric idea dies upon inception just due to some basic gas laws and unproven fairy tales developed by people trying to push this gaslight on the rest of humanity.
All right, hold that thought. We'll get to the those things one more, and then we got Dawn. Dawn's making her first time on the show. Dawn, welcome. How are you?
Hello, everyone. So my name is Dawn Dussault, and that's how you can find me on YouTube. Although I have a strike right now, so I can't post for another week. You can find me on Rumble at Dawn189, and I'm also on X, but that's fairly new. And so, yeah, I guess that's it.
All right, awesome. Thanks for being here. Let me explain real quick how this is going to work, or how we plan on it working. We'll see how it goes. To keep the conversation kind of moving and not run into the problems of let me speak, you didn't let me finish, I was talking, you talked over me, is we're going to give both teams a 45-minute clock that you can see on the screen now, is already up there. Soon as we begin, the clock will start for whoever is in control, and they're going to have the open mic until they say done, passing it to the other team. But the other team will have a chance, if they want, to use one of their 4 buzzers, and that buzzer will give them control after 10 seconds. It will switch to them. So that's basically it. You basically shouldn't have any talking over each other because I am in control of the mute button. And so really it should just be the team that's turn it is to talk that's talking. And when they say done, I'll flip the mute button to the other team. And again, if somebody wants to steal it, let's just make sure everybody's buzzer is working one more time. Make sure you have the buzzer page up. I believe everyone's free to buzz. So yeah, if somebody wants to buzz real quick. Okay, that was FTFE, right? Okay, what about that? That was Silver and Soul. Oz, that was Dawn. Oz, you're last. Beautiful. There we go. Everybody can buzz. I've cleared those. Those are ready to go. And the buzzer will be, you'll have 10 seconds to finish after the buzzer. And that is it. If anybody's interested in debating in this style or the original style, you can reach out to t.me/debatism. You can also go to debatism@outlook if you want to email and speak to us that way. Either it seems best if you come with a partner. If you say, hey, I'm going to debate this guy. There is some people that kind of sign up by themselves, but we haven't really had much luck in getting them opponents. So just, you know, be better if you want to get on the show to already have an opponent. Okay, let's get it going. I believe we are ready to go. So we're going to flip the coin real quick and we'll see who goes first. And then we'll each get a 1-minute intro. I don't see the coin. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's see if that moves over there. Let's let the ladies go first. Dawn, you can choose heads or tails.
I'll choose heads.
Okay, that team chooses heads, and it is heads. So do you want to go first or do you want to go second?
I will go, well, Dave,
team.
what do you think?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
do you want us to go first or do you want them to go first?
Go ahead and go first. Go ahead.
All right, you guys go first. So you've got 1 minute, Dawn, to just kind of, this is just an intro to your position on the subject. We're going to be debating the shape of the earth, of course. And okay. You have a minute whenever you want to go. Start.
Okay, sure. So I go more off of the, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name properly, but Eudoxus for his astronomical mathematical model. And he's actually the one that inspired people like Copernicus and Aristotle and the likes like that. And he's the one that had the original model. And he was a geocentrist. And so I go off of his model. And so so I look at things that are observable, repeatable, and measurable for data. And that's how I look at when I make observable observations and come up with like conclusions. And so especially as a scientist, I do have a scientific background as well. And so when I look at the Earth curve that is alleged to be there when there is a when we don't see a geographic physical horizon, which you need in order to have a globular shape. All right, you have to have it where there's a curvature and then where water allegedly drops. And I know, Craig, this is hard to hear. I know Santa Claus doesn't exist. And you need to have that in order to have that alleged model. And Pythagoras, your God, clearly, Craig, if you want to go with that, with those facial expressions, at 3 miles at sea level, whatever you want to call it, there would be 6 feet of alleged curvature. And not only do we see that, and that has been proven, that we can see well beyond that. Okay, but when you look at and consider even infrared, which you love to kind of like explain away with refraction and all these other things, it doesn't exist either. And so these are just things that are subjective reality, you know, and you like to make fun of people that are religious, okay, based on their religious views in the Bible. Well, whatever scientific books you are looking at, okay, this is based on subjective reality, and you have yet to prove with objective reality that is required if you work
Time.
in engineering. Okay, sorry.
That's okay. Dave, take over. You got a minute when you're ready.
Okay, and as my partner has pointed out, they have taken and hijacked human eyesight perspective and applied it to the surface of the Earth. When, as you pointed out, that we see this apparent horizon at approximately 3 miles. It depends on your height. It's within that range, but that's exactly it. Your field of view is obstructed by the very horizon itself. The sky is not obstructed, and once the horizon has risen up relative to eye level, your field of view is now blocked by that horizon. So anything that goes away from you will appear to disappear from the bottom up. If you increase your altitude, you'll bring the object fully back in. High enough, you'll see the horizon again beyond the object that you're looking at. So that, in conjunction with the idea that the very water we're looking at could not exist without the gas pressure that we exist in.
Okay, Craig, you're up. Go ahead. Oh, I have to mute you. Unmute you. Go ahead. Now you're good.
I base my position entirely on empirical data and things that can be shown to be true through actual physics and engineering and science. The knowledge that the Earth is a globe isn't something new, and there's no hijacking involved. It's just the shape that it is, and we've known this for millennia. Celestial navigation is something that absolutely flat out kills the flat Earth, and that's something that I can quite easily get into. But the age that we're in today, to deny that everything you're shown is with science and technology and space travel is real, it's bordering on childish at this point. I don't believe it. It's fake. Not a real space agency. It doesn't really fly when there's so much of it happening now. And I'm looking forward to hearing the excuses with the evidence that's presented. Over to you, Ozien.
Thank you. Ozien, you got a minute? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. So my standard of evidence maybe is a little bit looser than both of your evidence. I'm not an empiricist when it comes to evidence. I accept historical evidence, such as the facts that we went to the moon landing, the testimony of the astronauts, the pictures that we have, the video evidence that we have, the phone calls that we have. The fact is physically impossible. I also did my own tests and measurements to show that like Lake Huron curves, I have video evidence. I formulated my own hypothesis. So for empirical evidence of the shape of the curvature of water of a calm lake, I actually have that, and I've done that testing. I formulated at H1 and H2, and I falsified that the lake was flat, and the measurements I had showed that the water was blocking about 25% of the height of the ship. And so that's angular resolution.
Okay.
I'm done.
Thank you very much. We're setting the clocks to, let me get this back to 45 minutes. And Dawn and Dave, you guys are going to go first. Let me get these clocks both going. And you guys have your hands on the buzzer if you want it. And we should be good to go. Let me get this right. 45. Okay, those are ready. Make sure that your buzzers are free. And they are. Everybody's open. All right. And we are ready to go. We're going to mute Ozien and FTFE until it's their turn or until they buzz. Here we go. You guys are ready? Whenever you want to start, let's get going. Let's get it on. Oh, wait. I got to take you guys off mute.
Can you see my screen?
Good start. We got you now. Correct. Oh, you want to show your screen?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Look, I'm showing an image.
Okay, I see
This is my first time, so you can see it? Okay.
Yep.
Can everyone else?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a little bit off for a second, but yeah, they can see the screen.
All right, so Eudoxus, like I was talking about, I don't know how exactly to pronounce his name, but again, he was 350 BCE or 390 BCE, allegedly. Maybe didn't exist. Who knows? But to say that for countless era or millennia, whatever you were saying, Craig, that people weren't looking at a geocentric model, again, that's incorrect, and you're completely dismissing the Greeks, the Navajo, Babylonians, the Mesa, the Vikings, Indian, Incan, Hebrew, Chinese, Celtic, African, Sumerian, Masonic, Islamic, Hebrew, all right, and et cetera, of people that did believe in and describe a geocentric model, not a heliocentric model. That came with NASA, not a real space agency, is just a joke. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry for hurting your feelings. That's all I had to say about that. I don't know how to stop sharing. Let me see, stop sharing. There we go.
You guys stop sharing. Okay, we'll just go ahead and flip it. Looks like you guys want to go. Go ahead. Now I'm going to mute you.
A simple thing. She made the claim that the heliocentric model came with NASA. Can she back that up, that before NASA there was no heliocentric model? Because that's quite a big claim, that NASA made the heliocentric model. Please, Dawn, can you back that claim up?
It was Copernicus, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, Dawn claimed it was NASA. So how about we give Dawn the floor to back up the claim that it's NASA? That would be lovely, right?
Well, those weren't geocentric models either, so she needs to justify those were geocentric models also. They were not. They were local models. I did a whole week of videos on all those ancient civilizations last week on Matters Now. You can go review those, Dawn, if you want to. They were all local cosmological models. I'll cede the floor.
Yeah. So over to you, Dawn, please. Can you verify the statements that you made there, that the heliocentric model came with NASA? Please. Wonderful.
Discussing that, and you guys discussed angular momentum. Okay.
You're good. Go ahead.
I'm good. So we're going to continue with the curve. So you allege that you explain to me how a camera works and a telescope, since you guys talk about angular momentum and all this refraction stuff, to explain away why we're able to see windmills, ships, etc., at long distances beyond, again, the 3 miles of the alleged, 6 feet you would see of alleged curvature beyond 3 miles.
Okay, go ahead, Craig, and you guys are up.
Quite specific in what I said there. That could you please verify your statements about what you said about NASA? Instead of going on with something else, let's stick to the one thing at a time. You specifically just made the claim that the heliocentric model came with NASA. Can we stick with that before we go to something else? Please, Dawn. Thank you.
I will say that allegedly Copernicus, so you don't like people to try to elaborate on things. So I will say that allegedly Copernicus would be the first one, in my humble opinion, of the research that I've looked at, okay? That is the one that allegedly discussed the heliocentric nonsensical model, which again, discusses with Pythagoras, and I want to share the screen. His model proves, okay, that there would be, or not proves, his model alleges that at 3 miles, there would be 6 feet of alleged curvature to make your globular model based on the mathematics and the radius and the circumference, et cetera, that your globular, like whatever you want to call it, people provided us. And so I'll just show, if you don't have Pythagoras's curvature model with the, if I can find it, with the, I'll show people.
Are you trying to share?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Just because it's hard to show people without the visualization.
Yeah, I just see.
Oh, here we go. All right.
Was that really a buzzer? Okay.
So this is Pythagoras. Again, I don't know if he existed or not either. Okay, but this is, again, someone that's alleges these calculations and measurements. So explain how we can see for.
Okay, go ahead. You guys are up.
Yeah, I'm confused. As far as I understood, NASA doesn't support a heliocentric model of the universe. So can you explain what NASA's view is of the current cosmological model for the universe? Because it's not the heliocentric model.
Okay, back to you guys.
So I want to touch on what Dawn was just showing. I think Dawn's froze up. There she is. She's back. Let me share my screen just for a second, because this is something that people aren't taking into account. Okay.
They're not explaining. They keep on discussing angular momentum and light refraction.
Perspective. So is that on there? I can't see.
You're sharing screen.
Okay, so when you're looking from the profile view right here, you can see that you have about 50-degree angle upward when you're looking straight forward, and about 70 degrees down. This is why you can't usually see your feet unless you've got big feet or big shoes on, right? So what happens is, as the horizon appears to rise relative to your eye level. It'll come up just a bit below your eye level, and it'll stay relative to that no matter how high you go up. And what happens is once this right here is blocked over a distance, now your field of view is cut. It's cut to just below to here. You don't have all of this back here. You don't have damn near 65% or more of your field of view is cut off. And so as things go away, they do get smaller, appear to. They don't really get smaller, of course. And of course, it's going to, because of that obstruction, you're not getting a full-on view of the image or the object actually disappearing or appearing to get smaller. And so having the bottom part of your field of view blocked is going to make it appear to disappear from the bottom up. This is, of course, at about 3 miles, give or take, depending on your eye height. You can see this on a curvature calculator very easily. I can stop sharing that. Okay. So what you end up with is if your field of view is compromised, you can actually increase your field of view by increasing your altitude or your viewing angle. And this now the horizon appears to be further into the distance. With enough altitude, the object will actually have a horizon in front of it. So the horizon is obviously not physical, and it obviously isn't conforming to the curvature of the Earth. Because if I can increase my altitude and see beyond that supposed physical horizon, then that means there's no curve.
Is that you need to have some kind of a proven curve or a slope in order to form or create this globular model you guys are talking about. And as you guys have defined the parameters, is approximately 4,000 miles, approximately 8,000 miles in diameter, 4,000 miles in radius, and approximately 24,901 miles in circumference, approximately 40,000 kilometers, etc. Which when you do anyway. And so you need to have that in order to have the shape of a globe. All right. And it's still not even proven how. And by the way, with this water that you're discussing, water seeks level. So you haven't. So again, this is anecdotal evidence that is provided. And discussing empirical evidence, Craig, you haven't provided any proof of the curvature or anything like that. I've given you your proof that I don't even believe in. So you haven't even provided anything yet. And so discussing lens and magnification.
You are unmuted. Go ahead.
I haven't presented anything, and you've done nothing apart from strawman the globe model by just completely ignoring that refraction exists. To be clear, in the globe model, the horizon is an effect of Earth's curvature. And in response to Dave saying, when I go higher, I can see further, that's exactly what would happen if you were on a globe. The higher you go, the further you can see from the horizon. That's exactly the predictions of a globe. So I don't know why you would say that it's not. Yeah, you made a bunch of claims at the beginning, Dawn, about NASA and everything, which you then instantly backtracked on. So yeah, I don't, so far you've done nothing apart from misunderstand things about the globe. I don't need to present evidence against your misunderstandings. But you know, what I'd love is some evidence that the Earth is flat.
And the heliocentrist model is not true. It's lambda CDM, just to clarify for the audience. Lambda CDM, cold dark matter, is a current cosmological model. And Dave is straw manning my argument. I never talked anything about the horizon. When I get a chance to share my screen, I will go over my evidence. But I don't know if you want to respond to what Craig was talking about, and then I can show my evidence.
Unmute.
Gotcha.
So just to be clear, you have still not proven, given any measurable, observable, or repeatable data to prove that the shape of the Earth is a globe. Because until you do that, we can't move on from there. Because I want to ask you about things about telescopes and cameras. Because you guys are the experts on this, you keep on making fun of people about this.
So
okay, can I show my evidence?
Yeah, make sure when you guys are done talking, when you want the other person, just say something that done or something, so I know that you're done and you're moving over.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Everybody's
clear. I've never stated I'm an expert on cameras, so I don't know where that straw man came from. But Ozien, over to you.
Can you share my camera?
Yes.
Okay. So I went to Lake Huron a couple of years ago. I bought a drone. And so I was trying to test the flat Earth hypothesis. Everybody says, go on and test it, go on and test it. You'll find out that it is flat. So I hypothesized that if I looked out at a cargo ship and if the Earth was flat and the cargo ship was close, if I sent the drone straight up, so it's not beyond the horizon. If I sent the drone straight up, I wouldn't expect the cargo ship to get taller. And if there was water blocking the cargo ship, I would expect the drone to get water. If there was water blocking the cargo ship, it would be because the Earth was curved. So if you look at my drone footage here, at the drone's at sea level here, or it's actually a little bit above. As it goes up, you can't see the whole thing. But as it goes up, you can see, if you could see the full picture, the ship gets about 20% taller as it goes all the way up to the full altitude.
You could show it again. I'm spreading it out a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I'll show it really quick. It's about 20 seconds.
Okay, it should be better there.
Yeah, so it has nothing to do with the horizon in the background. So it's before the horizon. The ship hasn't gone past the horizon. So you can see the ship is about 20% taller when it goes all the way up. So this, to me, to my experience, falsified the flat Earth and demonstrated Lake Huron was curved, which is one of the Great Lakes outside of Michigan, East China, to be precise. And I'm done.
Craig, anything? No? Okay, you guys are up. Don,
yeah, let's discuss Ozien's evidence, and I've got evidence that I'd like to present as well. But I don't know why Dawn started sharing the screen in the middle of Ozien's presentation there, but
nobody can see it.
Yeah, just love to hear their response to that first.
Okay, go ahead. Let me unmute.
Water seeks level, and he didn't show any proof. Again, it was more anecdotal evidence discussion. No proof.
I think it exemplified my point that we saw an apparent horizon at the ship, and then as we rose in elevation, I don't know how much you would expect the ship to actually grow. You're still going to be subject to foreshortening of objects in the foreground, but we noticed that the horizon, nice and level, was on beyond that ship in the drone footage. I just want to point that out. The whole reason that drone was even, see, this is the biggest problem with the whole idea of this. Things don't just form into.
Okay, you guys are up. I think that's your third one. You have one left.
Oh, but that should be my second buzzer. Oh, maybe it's my
four
third.
per team.
Sorry. Can you define a sphere to me? Because the horizon is to me a great circle. So please define what I would experience on a sphere.
You're asking them?
Yes.
Go ahead. Unmute.
The horizon would lose. It would drop beneath you. It would drop further and further below, but it stays relative to eye level, the same as it always is when you're looking straight on. Always relative to eye level. And you can't see around curves. I did an experiment with this using a spiral staircase. There's one down here at this hotel in town. And I had my wife go on up around the stairs. And no matter how much zooming I did, and no matter how much I went around to the other side of the stairs, could I see her anymore? Because there was actually physical obstruction. We don't see that physical obstruction, especially not for a globular object given the size and specific dimensions that we're told. A sphere, what would you expect? A sphere is a three-dimensional object with only one dimension. Isn't that crazy? So you would see the horizon drop below you. It's that simple. You can do this all day long. Dawn?
And if you were looking at a sphere two-dimensional, obviously that is a three-dimensional object, Craig, relax. But if you're looking at it two-dimensionally, it would look like a circle, and the same mathematics and trigonometry and mathematics would apply to measure distances as well. And so even regarding, I could talk forever about, you can't even prove that water, like how do you prove that water can stick to a spinning wet rock in space? I try to unpack that, but I don't even know. So many questions.
Better yet, how can it hold air? How can we have air being held by this theory? when there's never been any evidence,
environment.
Never any evidence of a downward acceleration of gases. They want to say, oh, gradient, right? But they forget about the temperature gradient. They don't take Boltzmann's constant into account. They don't know about Dalton's law. All of these gas laws, and not single one of a gas law ever uses gravity. They're
talking about curved light and stuff like that as well. So even talking about magnification, okay, so even with like the millimeters, like for the length of a lens, again, this is all stuff that's like, it's hard to explain, right? But field of view, how wide or how narrow an image it will produce is based on the focal length. And so 50 millimeters compared to 500 millimeters, for example. And these are all things that are done for magnification within the camera or the telescope itself. And you guys are trying to pretend that this happens beyond that. And so what I'm saying is, so in order for there to be a bend, and again, like not a curve, but a bend, you would need to have some kind of like change of medium, or, you know, to have that, right? So like an aquarium, for example, like having a laser go through and then it bends, it's not curving. It is bending though. And so there's a lot of people just like an MC Tune. I wouldn't have done that to you if you didn't accidentally do that with Jeranism when he started his video. So I just wanted to say that, like, it's, you know, I accidentally did it too. I accidentally shared my screen too. So I just wanted to like explain how we can see well beyond the Earth alleged curvature, and that we still can't even see a physical horizon, because you need that to create your sphere.
Done?
Done.
Thank you. Let's go ahead. You're both good.
Yeah, the horizon is there, and what we see is the light coming from the horizon. If there was no horizon, we wouldn't see light coming from it. We see the horizon at the distance we expect, depending on the refractive conditions. If you are just going to ignore that refraction is a thing, then that's great. You can just ignore that refraction is a thing and pretend the Earth is flat. But we can't ignore refraction because refraction happens in the atmosphere. Don't get angry, Dave. That's just what it's called. And gravity is a thing that has been proven time and time again. And no, Dawn, water does not find its level. Water doesn't do anything. Water isn't sentient. Water, like every other bit of matter in the universe, simply reacts to forces that are acting on it. And that's why when there is no forces acting on water, it is a sphere. So yeah, in response to there's no evidence, yeah, the gradient absolutely is evidence. We don't ignore the temperature gradient. We can talk about the fact that the temperature is different all over the world, yet the pressure at sea level is still the same all around the world, regardless of the temperature, which kind of destroys your argument. And the fact that there is no upward rushing of wind shows that there is a downward acceleration because of the gradient. So if you're going to ignore these things, that's fine. It doesn't matter if you misunderstand them. All you've done so far is misunderstand them and ignored Ozien's evidence. So Ozien, anything to add? And then maybe I can show my evidence.
Oh, I just want to point out that cargo ship was entirely, like the entire image of it was before the horizon. It wasn't vanishing beyond the horizon. The only thing I could conclude, based on my humble little opinion, my humble test, based upon comet geometry, I had no care at all about the horizon at all. And a sphere, I would expect to be curving away from the observer in all directions, in every way I looked. Like if I was standing on this globe right here, I don't know if people can see it. If I was standing right here on the globe, it'd be curving away from me in all directions, just like I observed with my drone footage as the water vanished and more 25% of more of this ship was exposed. If you could have seen it, it was measured that it was like 22% or something like that. More of the ship was exposed. But go ahead, Craig, with your evidence.
Yeah, so I'm going to change the camera that I'm showing you, Jaren, and just make my my camera big. Right, there we go. Should be getting that.
I think I got it.
So this, here we go. Get up. This is the I'll just mute it. So, all right, this is a rocket launch by an amateur. It's called the Mesos launch because it was designed to go to the mesosphere. And the reason I want to talk about this launch in particular is because of the camera involved, which is a specially designed GoPro with a rectilinear lens, no fisheye, and the camera is actually for sale at the moment with all the specs available. So they made their own rocket and they launched it and went up to quite a high distance. And the camera is not fisheye. That is the crux of the argument here. There can't be any arguments of, oh, it's fisheye showing that, because the camera is not fisheye. If you don't believe me, I will give you the specs. You can look at it yourself to show that the camera is not fisheye. I'm going to quickly turn it sideways so that you can see it better, because the camera was originally mounted on sideways. So just give me one sec. Rotate.
Dave, did you guys use a buzzer? One? No? Okay, thank you.
Right. So the rocket launches, and this shows the whole launch all the way up to space. And the entire way up, the curve is the same. And it can be matched. The curve is there. It doesn't go the wrong way. It is the curve of Earth all the way up. And I want to hear the arguments about how we can get a shot like this with the clear curvature of the Earth. And I want this with a clear curvature of the Earth from a camera that doesn't have a fisheye lens, done by an amateur, nothing to do with any space agency or anything. Yet it matches what we say the space agency is. And also, if you check the height that this is and the curvature you see there, you can put it into Walter Bisland's calculator that shows you the curvature that we expect, and it matches the predictions of the globe. Right, so it's simple. Let's not get down in the bogs about physics, gravity, misunderstanding this and that. This is a video done by an amateur with a non-fisheye lens that shows the curvature of the Earth from space. What is your response?
Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, you're a liar yet again. That doesn't surprise me, because there are countless videos and footage from amateur people that have repeatedly shown well beyond that friggin' level that you even just observed there. And I've shared videos of it. So if you haven't seen that, you're being lazy, because I've shared those videos as well. And it shows that this is a flat plane. And are you familiar with astronomical mathematics and the apparent travel path of the sun?
Well, here's the thing I noticed right off. Here's the thing I noticed right off. Okay. That curvature in those stills that you just showed did not stay consistent. It was different. Okay. I want to point that out first of all. Second of all, how far is the horizon if it's physical? How far is that? Okay. What is the downward? You tell me, Craig, you deal with empirical evidence. Okay. Give me empirical evidence of a downward acceleration of air due to gravity, that air is actually pushing down. I would like to, and don't just say gradient, because that's horse crap. Okay. You have nothing that shows a downward acceleration of air. Okay. And yeah, no, that I'm not going to let you get away with that. Just scream gradient and look at the sky. You have any demonstrable experimentation, repeatable, that can show that even if gravity does exist, that air is actually affected by it? No gas law has gravity in it. Not a single one. Not a single one.
Flat Earth proof 4.
Don, anything?
So that's it.
Altitude.
I just wanted to talk, again, this is not something that they're going to be interested in, so they might even buzz me, so I can't see the screen here. It's just regarding the sun's alleged path, like in the sky above us. I believe it to create a sine wave or a sinusoidal wave, because it does a circular path, what I believe to be this divine clock, this 24-hour clock that we have. And so the sun allegedly, and again, this is in astronomical mathematics books, and also something that Eudoxus also discuss, where it is approximately 15 degrees every hour, or approximately 1,000 miles per hour that the sun allegedly travels above us. And so, and that is what makes a 24-hour clock. So that's why we get the circumference as well. And so this is just based off of, and so also with the sun's path, on the 20th of March of every single year, we have equal amount of day and night. And that's, and then it goes from there. And again, the science ways prove that this is repeatable, observable, measurable data. And so then it starts where it increases, or it goes closer to the center of the Earth, what I believe to be the center of the Earth, the Tropic of Cancer. And that's where on the 21st of June of every single year in the Northern Hemisphere, we have our summer solstice, where we have the longest amount of day, the shortest amount of night. And it stays, or rather it does that path for 3 days. And then it starts its descent from its highest point on the 24th of June of every single year, which is what we call St. John the Baptist Day. And then it starts from its ascent. It starts where we have shorter amount of days, longer nights, again, from the highest point. And then on the 22nd of September of every single year during the fall equinox, that's again where we have equal amount of day and nights. And that's also, fun fact, where Leonardo da Vinci, for his Last Supper, where Jesus sits at the Last Supper is at the fall equinox rather. And then during the fall, during the we start having longer nights, shorter days. And then on the 21st of December in the Northern Hemisphere, that is when the sun is further away. I can show the ring, or Dave, if you want to show that. Anyway, it's just like, it's just a visual representation. But on the 21st of December of every single year, we have the least amount of day, longest amount of night in the Northern Hemisphere is what I'm talking about. And then again, we have the least amount of daylight for 3 days or 3.5 days. And then every single year on the 25th of December of every single year, the sun starts its ascent from its lowest point. And again, this is measurable and observable and repeatable. And it's 23.4 degrees north or south latitude is what it travels, which is also measurable distances, approximately 660 miles distance north or south of the equator. So this is impossible if this was allegedly a sun that was 93 million miles away, that wasn't local within this contained environment. And so, and again, this is an electromagnetic reality, as Walter Russell likes to say, that's being projected on a flat plane of inertia and, via toroidal field and hyperboloids. And so again, there's a lot to discuss here, but even with our theory, if they wanted to show the example, there's possibly a magnetic structure or mountain or of sorts, possibly, or something similar to what's in your background that is at the center of this Earth plane that emits these magnetic fields, and the luminaries are heavily influenced by this as well. And so this is a near impossibility. And by the way, it also goes to every single zodiacal sign. These images in the sky, and you can map out, you can connect the lines from the stars to create these zodiacal images. And so that would be impossible if they were far away, spinning and traveling, and we were spinning and traveling. It would be impossible. And so this is every single culture: Mithras, Dionysus, Horus, Jesus. There's so many other people throughout history that these represent the sun and its path, its divine path above us within this contained environment that's being contained by what I think to be electrical magnetic fields. And then even within the atmos, or this atmosphere, we have it where the higher up you go in elevation, you need more electrical current or flow it's required. And it's also, so again, you've got this electricity magnetism that's impacted by the temperatures as well. So when you have colder temperatures, magnetism is more efficient. And then that's the opposite for electricity as well. So I could talk about the visible and non-visible light spectrum as well, but I think I'm just rambling on. And so I'll just leave it. And Dave, if you wanted to add stuff.
No, I want this empirical evidence of gravity affecting gas. I really do, because we have to have that in order to even be having this conversation. I'm sorry, I'm not buying that. This takes me right to the whole idea of you're going to have for some reason unknown to anyone, you have gas forming into masses, and somehow against all gas behavior, crushing together in on itself for some mysterious ass reason. That I don't see how anybody could ever even entertain such a ridiculous idea. I mean, you give me that. I want to see gravity affecting gas. That's what I want to see. A laboratory experiment, a mass of air being attracted to another mass, for instance, that would be cool. Without having to point to the sky. I'm
trying to show just like the sine wave path that the sun allegedly, this is my interpretation of astronomical mathematics that I've looked into. And you can even see with this sine wave that's being created by the sun's circular path. traveling 1,000 miles approximately every hour or 15 degrees, which in a 24-hour clock, traveling from east to west. And just like the constellations and the luminaries, they also travel from east to west. And it's Polaris that is the like the North Pole Star that these luminaries they travel in perfect symmetry and circular paths, or sine wave if you map it out, because then you have the anyway, I'll get into that. But anyway, so you've got Aries and Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, etc. that the sun travels through, which is why, for me, for example, I'm in December. I won't say exactly when, but I'm a Capricorn, because that's where the sun is located, above us within the firmament during that time of year, right? And so depending on the time of year, you have a different sun sign and moon sign and rising sign, etc. And so again, this would be an impossibility if we were spinning at allegedly 1,600 kilometers per hour, approximately 1,000 miles per hour. Conveniently, they are misleading us into thinking that how this actually exists is something else, and it's nonsensical. We don't feel the spin. When I smoke a joint, no offense, like the smoke goes in the air, right? And a little bit of wind will blow it away. So anyone that's saying that like gravity pulls like water down, that's heavier and denser than the smoke and the hummingbirds and the beers. Anyway, it's nonsensical. And so the sun every single year does the exact same path. That's all I got. I'm sorry.
Okay, good. Back to you guys. Go ahead.
Interesting how when I showed the evidence, the only response was, "You're a liar."
I got a serious question. Okay, very, very, very serious question. You demand empirical evidence for gas gradient. We just heard like 20 different. It's probably not 20 different claims. I'm sorry, Don. That wasn't a sine wave. Those were two half circles. A sine wave is a trigonometric function. It's close. It's like two half circles, but that's okay. I'm not going to be too pedantic about that. But we heard stuff about constellations, everything being an electromagnetic field, not a dome, but a firmament, all these empirical testable claims with no empirical evidence for any claims. So I hear a lot of hypocrisy for claims with no empirical evidence, no testable evidence for any of these claims, but you demand. And when we give empiricism for these claims, you deny it. But I'm not allowed to believe that gravity exists when we have Cavendish experiments. We have empirical claims that I accept as true, but I'm not allowed to believe.
Okay, so Cavendish wasn't designed to prove mass attracting mass or any such nonsense. I can show that during my turn. Also, I never made any claim about a firmament. Okay, I never made that claim. I said it must be contained unless you can prove otherwise. That's it.
I'm trying to show what a sine wave is, because clearly MC Toon thinks that I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to show you what a sine wave is, like I showed you.
Go ahead. Right there. Gotcha. That's FTFE, by the way, not McToon. McToon's the far.
No, it was Ozien that tried to tell me that I don't know what a sine wave is.
Oh, no, I'm saying
because I was showing a sine wave.
There you go. It's on screen now.
So I just wanted to show him what a sine wave was. I can give you the video afterwards if you want to look at it. Annoying children.
You guys done there? You want to? Good?
I'm good.
That's our buzzer.
Okay, go back. You guys are up.
That was a sine wave. And no, she made a claim about the firmament. She's making a claim about these celestial bodies existing. She's making a claim about we can't feel we can feel motion. No, we can't. We can only feel change in vectors. So support these empirical claims. We can feel motion. We can't feel motion, but support these empirical claims. I'll concede the floor.
Yeah. Everything that Ozien said is completely right. There's just nothing but hypocrisy. And the fact that I present footage from an amateur with a non-fisheye lens that you can all go and check the specs yourself and even buy the camera if you want because it's for sale. And the only response that I got was, nuh-uh, you're a liar. There are other videos. Yeah, there are videos from people that apparently show it being flat, but every single one of those has a fisheye lens. There is no amateur footage with a non-fisheye lens that shows anything other than the Earth being curved. And to go back to Dave's thing about, show me gravity containing a gas. Jaren, if you could just make my screen big again, and I'll change the video I'm sending you.
Hey, I'm not saying you can't believe in a firmament and all that stuff, but don't tell me what I can't believe. Thank you.
Yeah. So what we see here is gas being contained by gravity, because that black stuff there, that's really, 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 really low pressure. That blue stuff going down to the ground, that's the gradient of pressure. What you see here is gas being contained by gravity. To ask me to go into a lab and show you gas being pulled down is a straw man of what gravity is, because that gas is already busy being pulled down by gravity. But here it is demonstrated by an amateur, something that is repeatable, that you can do yourself if you get the equipment, which this rocket wasn't that expensive to put together. And yeah, the original Cavendish experiment was not set up to show that mass attracts mass. However, it is a perfect experiment for showing that to be the case. Excuse me.
And if the Earth was contained in a container, it doesn't prove it's flat.
Exactly. But what we see here is gas next to a low pressure area. But it's not just next to it. It's a gradient going from 14.7 psi to very close to zero. That is what exists. That is the predictions of gravity. This is it being demonstrated. This is what you ask for. A laboratory isn't necessarily a building with tiles and in a sterile condition. This can be classed as laboratory conditions because it is an experiment showing you gas being contained by gravity and the curve of the Earth. Do not just call me a liar for presenting a video by an amateur. You have to refute this by presenting a video that is also from an amateur with the specs of the camera to prove it is non-fisheye. Otherwise, just calling me a liar is simply hypocrisy and you wanting to believe something because you need to feel special. Dawn, I do not believe you have a scientific background. Ozien, what were you going to say?
Oh, just like her claims of the luminaries in the skies, the zodiacs, and all that stuff in the skies are there. But you're not allowed to use this as evidence that it's a container using gravity of air pressure, of an air pressure gradient. Yeah, but that claim's okay.
And to clarify, there is a bunch of gas laws that use gravity. The best one is the barometric pressure law that definitely uses gravity. I've actually got an entire list of gas laws that include gravity. So that claim that there's no gas laws that include gravity is just a claim born of pure ignorance. Are you, Ozien, anything to add, or should we let them burn the rest of their time?
Yeah, they can go if they have any. I just want empirical evidence for all the claims that Dawn made.
Yeah, and I would like a refutation of the video from an amateur that I've shown that isn't just you're a liar. Oh, that's clearly fisheye.
You guys are up. Dawn.
All right.
Dave.
So look, you completely ignored the Boseman's constant. Your picture, that's your proof that gravity contains a gas. That's your proof is that we saw gravity. We saw gravity, Craig. And that air, you're saying that has from the gravitational prediction, huh? 9.8 meters per second squared. That air is rushing downward due to the gravity, right? That's a load of fucking bull. Your video, the Earth's curvature in all of those different screenshots and frames was different and inconsistent to your hypothesis whatsoever. Now, there was nothing from your photograph showing, gravity holding gas, which is ridiculous in the first place. That's the best you can do? I'm sorry, pal. Gas doesn't work that way. It has perfect elastic collisions, and it is subject to the other gas laws, such as Dalton's law, the Boseman's constant, and a host of others.
They're never going to actually give tangible proof. And again, there's been zero observable, measurable, repeatable data given. And then again, with what I showed you regarding the sun's, like its path, like through the zodiacal belt, this is something that is measurable, repeatable, observable. So you can take a look at it yourself. Regarding gravity, again, like this is something that is repeatedly debunked, like the alleged claims you make with the downward acceleration and stuff like that. As Walter Russell alleged to it, but again, being a little bit incorrect again with his information as well. And so there are gravitational and there are radiating energies or forces, right? This is a universe. Okay, a cosmos or whatever you want to call it, that's like one energy or field or force that's experiencing itself dualistically via electricity and magnetism. Okay, and these things are impacted by things like pressure, this contained environment, right? This gaseous atmosphere that we have. In order for that to exist, okay, you would need to have a contained environment, which you still have not proven yet. Okay, so there's that, and you still haven't proven this like a physical geographic like curve. I'm not saying there isn't a freaking horizon, okay, but when I'm saying a physical geographical like earth curve that you would need in order to form a ball, you don't have that proof. And you guys are the ones that are saying that this is a like some kind of a like a wet spinning rock in space with water that's being held onto it, even though everything that we see that's observable, measurable, and repeatable is at water seeks level. Okay.
He has not answered my question yet of how far away is the horizon. If I'm standing on the beach and I'm looking, is that 3 miles? Is that the physical horizon? How far away is the horizon before I can no longer see around the ball? That's what I want to know.
Good. Back to you guys. You are unmuted. Go ahead.
The horizon is a tangent line from wherever your eyes are above sea level, straight to wherever it intersects with the physical surface of the earth, wherever that is. That's the horizon. Doesn't matter what direction you look. Anyways, and I showed evidence of water curving. Just because you don't accept it doesn't mean I have to reject it. It justifies my belief and my knowledge that the Earth curves, and so does Craig's evidence. And you were talking about momentum and change in vectors. Here's people jumping around on a trampoline on a moving truck. Look at this. This moving, and they're jumping around on a trampoline. Look at this.
Is relative.
Look at that. Look at that. How are they doing this?
It's amazing.
How are they doing this?
It's magic,
like,
yeah.
Wow.
I know, right?
Look,
yeah, so
people ask, how come you're sharing a screen when we're talking? Like, this is totally like dishonest here.
That's FTFE.
Oh, is that FTFE?
This is me. Sorry.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm putting this up for my next point. So yeah.
Okay.
This is just showing not finding its level, really, because there's other forces acting on it. I hear the buzz. Let's let them waffle a bit more of their time away. Please go ahead.
I'm not gonna waffle. The video that you just showed was like people on a trampoline having fun, but there was also contained walls. There was barriers there that also like assisted them. So like if you remove those friggin' walls, okay, just like in an airplane, yeah, you're not feeling the 876 approximate kilometers per hour within the plane either. Okay, so you guys are again just with this ridiculous stuff that you're showing. It's just I don't know. It's just and you're saying that I'm not a scientist? Come on, Craig, nuclear engineer. Okay, I'm done.
Dave, anything?
No, man.
Okay, back to you guys.
I'm Ozien, but if you want to talk, that was a trampoline with walls in the back just so they can't drop off. Here's one without walls, a helicopter on a moving aircraft carrier that I lived on for 3 years. I watched helicopters take off of aircraft carriers all the time. Here, look. Maintaining momentum with the moving aircraft carrier with a huge headwind. Huge headwind.
More magic, Ozien.
Yeah,
magic.
With a huge headwind. Usually they're much more stable because it doesn't have a huge headwind. More evidence that it's not that it maintains the momentum of the surface underneath it when it's moving. Doesn't need walls. The problem with this one is that the wind also, you're talking about the wind blowing. Maintains momentums.
Yeah. The the arguments of ignorance are literally all there is. Oh, well, I don't believe this. That I don't accept that. Yeah, I literally showed you a screenshot of a video which is showing air being contained by gravity. There is the downward acceleration. That's why there's the pressure gradient matching the predictions of gravity. And no, you can't just lie, Dave, and say that the curve is different at each point. No, it's not. I've checked it. And I actually have pictures of overlays of several points in that showing that the curve actually is curved all of the time. It never does anything but curve. And at every point, it matches the predictions of what we would expect.
Wrong, dude. The predictions of gravity? What are the predictions? What is the predictive rate of fall for air in any environment? Can you show me this?
Yeah, then I'm
downward acceleration of air. It's a downward acceleration of air. You have to show this. I'm sorry. In predicting your gradient, you haven't taken into account any of the gas laws that accompany temperature and the effect that temperature has on the acceleration of the gas particles themselves. And due to the different gases, how they all react differently to the temperatures, but in a similar manner. You're just totally ignoring everything. Show me proof of a downward acceleration of air. And you didn't show anything from space. You showed gravity holding gas. How was that showing me gravity holding gas? Just because you have a picture of the denser gases below that are lit up by light and refracting light above an area where those gases are not present at, that's your proof of gravity holding it in? While you ignore every gas law that there is, Craig? That's a load of crap. And no, your video showed a different rate of curvature in damn near every frame. I'm done.
Okay, we'll go back to them. Go ahead, you're unmuted. Go ahead.
What gas law explains pressure? What gas law explains pressure gradient?
The barometric gas law, which contains gravity.
Well, then can Dave please explain pressure? What gas law explains observable pressure gradient?
Yeah, I mean, he could try, but he's going to misunderstand Boltzmann's constant.
Well,
but
if he can't explain it and we can, then he does. Then he can't speak to what we can observe at all. He could just say, I'm ignorant on the topic, or I don't know, until he has a model to replace it. The best model we have right now is gravity.
And here's the thing. Dave doesn't understand that laws work in isolation. There is gas laws that explain the kinetic potential of gas and elastic collisions that don't take into account other things because it's an explanation in isolation. Every law is an explanation in isolation that doesn't take other things into account. But there is lots of gas laws, like the barometric gas law, that take gravity into account. So him claiming there isn't any is just either being ignorant or lying. All right. And
we isolate the laws to understand the effects of the laws, but all the laws apply all the time. All the time. We just isolate some to understand the effects.
Yeah. Like you have to take into account all the gas laws. We have to also take into account Newton's law of gravity, which they just deny. And here's the thing. The predictions of gravity are that we will have a gradient. The fact that there is more at the bottom and less at the top is showing there's a downward acceleration matching the predictions of gravity. The further away from the center of mass you are, the less the gravitational force is. And that's why there's a gradient of less pressure as you go up. The gas isn't rushing down because the gas is in the way. But if there wasn't a force pulling that gas down, then according to your isolated gas laws, Dave, there should be an instantaneous rushing of gas to fill the lower pressures. That does not exist. So back to Ozien's question, can you please tell us which gas law in isolation describes a gradient of pressure that is equal all around the world. Over to you.
Yeah, so these gas laws work within one another as well. The Boltzmann constant shows that due to the temperature, the gases will behave in a different way. Their rate of acceleration changes due to temperature. As it gets down colder, they start moving slower, some faster, going at a slower rate, at a quicker rate than others will recede. You also have the Dalton's law, which states that the whole pressure is the sum pressure of all of the various elements within that total pressure. So as we rise in elevation, we start losing gases. We gain other types of gases too, like ozone that starts to take place. So I'm sorry, without any definitive proof of a downward acceleration, which you cannot show in any magnitude whatsoever. In fact, if I put something on a scale inside of a vacuum chamber, remove the mass of the air, the object actually gets heavier. So how is it that I remove this downward push of air that's supposedly in there and the object actually gets heavier? Now, if buoyancy, and you've found ways to slip gravity into all of the other laws that where it's not required, why is there none for any of these gas laws? There are none, okay? Especially with the free expansion of gas, Joule's free expansion of gas. Now, you also, you can't call a theory a law, because there again, you're having trouble even really demonstrating a downward acceleration of air, okay? Of course, there's going to be a higher concentration of the gases down here on Earth. That's where they come from, fool. Of course.
Okay, that's your last one. You guys have no more left.
Yeah, you can't just deny a law because you don't like it. Gravity is not a theory. This is just something ridiculous that you guys say because you don't understand what a scientific theory is. Gravity is as much as a theory as music is a theory. Music theory is a thing, but music's not a theory. I took a driving theory test. Driving is not a theory. The theory of gravity simply contains all of our knowledge, experiments, and laws that explain it. There is a theory. Everything has a theory of it. You can take a theory of everything. My son is doing a college course in culinary arts. He has to take like cooking theory and stuff. That doesn't mean that cooking is a theory, right? So this is just say a theory can't be a law is just a misunderstanding of scientific vernacular. There is the law of universal gravitational attraction. You can't just take some laws and not the others. You can't pick and choose which laws you want to be true to fit your narrative. We take into account all laws. All of the gas laws, along with the laws of gravity, match what we see. There is nothing that goes against physics. This is what physics says should happen. And there is no individual gas law that says there would be a gradient of pressure that stays the same. The temperature is a result of the fact that there is less gas. Yet the fact that when you're at the surface, you can have temperature differentials as much as 50, 60 degrees across the world, and the pressure at the surface of the Earth still stays 14.7 psi, showing that there is other things in effect than just Boltzmann's constant and things like that. There is multiple laws that work together constantly all of the time, including all of the gas laws that you talk about, all of the gas laws that include gravity, like the barometric pressure law, Newton's law of gravity, electrodynamic theory, and the laws within that. They all work together, as a whole. And you just want to take things in isolation and say, this doesn't have gravity, therefore gravity is not real. But what we see in reality, that gradient of pressure that I showed you from the rocket launch, actually showing you the curvature of Earth that you're just glossing over, that is a demonstration of gravity acting on air, creating a downward acceleration, which is why there is a pressure gradient going to practically zero. If there was no force keeping it like that, then according to the isolated gas laws that you keep quoting, the gas would be expanding to fill the lower pressure area. And there is no extra gas created. There is just a transfer of the gases that already exist on Earth. You straw manning and not understanding physics and the globe model and the things we say will never, ever, 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 ever debunk it. I presented empirical evidence that the Earth is a globe by showing you a rocket launch from the ground to space with curvature matching what we say it was. You can check every single frame individually if you like in the after show. You will see that never is it anything other than the curve we expect. It's been tested, and I've looked at it myself. I've checked myself. It is showing the Earth's curve. That is the empirical data. We don't need to go over your misunderstandings of physics and astronomy. We don't. That's irrelevant. I just need to show you the Earth from space with a curve, which I did. And Ozien showed you the curve of the Earth, in effect, matching the predictions from much further down. And you've just hand-wave dismissed it. Dawn's talked a lot of nonsense about things that aren't sine waves and said, oh, this can't happen if the Earth's a globe, when in fact, everything we see with the sun matches the predictions of the globe with a tilt orbiting the sun. Everything that we see in reality 100% matches the globe predictions. Saying it doesn't is just either ignorance or a lie. Ozien, anything to add?
Just to point out, up at the thermosphere, the temperature can get up to like 2,000 degrees Celsius. And I don't know how that matches his idea of the law, gas laws. If the gas is moving around excited, it actually doesn't burn you because the gas is so thin. Anyways, I'm done.
Okay, back to you guys. You're unmuted.
So first off, I never claimed an independent gas law was responsible. I named some that work within conjunction of one another. I can name several more that work together. And that's why I agreed with you that they do work together. This is why this is a dynamic system, you understand. And again, I wanted to go back to this 14.7 down at sea level where the gases are produced. Yes. Are you disagreeing with Greta? Cows do not produce methane. What? What are we talking about here now, guys? So this 14.7 psi is an average that fluctuates all the time, not greatly, but to a certain degree. And this is where you have a little thing in the house that measures the millibars of pressure change. I have one. Okay. Secondly, you still have not given demonstrable evidence of a downward acceleration of air. A barometer does not work on the downward acceleration of air. It works on the displacement principle. It does not, because you can turn a barometer sideways and guess what? It'll still work. This won't work with the scale. So you're acting like this pressure is measured from a gravitational pull on the air. It's not. It's the displacement. That's why it's equally distributed on every point of anything that displaces the gas. Dawn, go ahead.
I don't have too much to add, honestly. You need a contained environment in order to have this gas pressure that we have, this gas pressure system. And you can explain that away like all you want. That's fine. But you still have not given observable, measurable, repeatable data for anything that we've asked to even prove that this is a globe, right? And so we're not even beyond that. This globular, like the Earth curve calculations that you guys keep on bringing up. You keep on insulting people and you keep on bringing up your own theories that have been repeatedly debunked, not only on my own channel, but Dave's and countless other people. You just refuse to look at it. And I don't know what this cognitive dissonance is. It's fine. Okay. I just don't understand why you guys are literally just not understanding or looking at what we're providing you guys and have been for years. So again, until you guys actually give us any kind of substantial evidence, observable, measurable, repeatable evidence, based on objective reality, not on subjective reality, then we can't even move on from there. So you can make fun of me all you want. I don't care. I'm just literally just trying to get this information out. And again, I'm just dealing with people like you. That's fine. I'm done.
Okay, back to you guys. You're unmuted, and Craig, you're unmuted.
There's no contradiction unless there's no cognitive dissonance unless you can show a contradiction within my actual worldview, which you have not done. Downward acceleration only means like there's a force acting on air coming down, but we also say there's forces on air causing air to go up, such as.
But we've shown you videos on electrostatics. We've shown you videos on.
Sorry. Didn't have it on mute. Go ahead.
such as buoyancy and such like that. Just because you make arguments doesn't mean I accept your arguments as being true. So that's not showing a contradiction within my worldview. So that's, but go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, I just want to point out, Dawn keeps going on about insulting her, but I haven't insulted her once in this, so I don't know why she keeps going on about that. And it's just odd that she wants to try and poison the well in that way. It's, interesting. Dawn, no flat earthers ever presented the evidence that the earth is flat. They just say things with no evidence to back it up. And you keep saying we've given you no empirical data yet. Ozien and I both gave you empirical experiments that can be repeated. If you want empirical measurements, simple, go to mctoon.net/r and you find measurements of the curve of the Earth. mctoon.net/spin, you find measurements of the rotation of the Earth. mctoon.net/g, you'll find measurements of Earth's gravity. And I don't care if you don't like that they're on mctoon's website. That's just a place with links to other places. So, if you're going to just dismiss it because it's mctoon's, that's irrelevant. That's where you can find the empirical data that you keep saying we've never given you. It's been available forever. It's not my fault if you haven't found it. There is nothing that flat earthers have presented that debunks anything we say. All you do is you misunderstand things. Yes, there are electrostatic forces. They exist. No one's denying that. But they don't replace what gravity does. They work in conjunction. We can have forces acting against the force created by gravity. That's a thing. More than one force can act at the same time. But when you get down to it and measure all the forces involved, we see that there is a force creating a downward acceleration on things, and we call that the force due to gravity. And we can measure that there's an attractive force between masses. Denying it doesn't make it go away. Not understanding it also doesn't make it go away. And until you flat earthers can demonstrate that you even begin to understand the physics behind things you pretend to understand and deny, then you will never, ever, ever have an argument, because again, you cannot debunk something by just not understanding it. Now, I have given you all the empirical evidence you would ever need. I've told you where to find it. I've shown you a rocket launch from space. I've shown you in the rocket launch from space that there is no container keeping that gas in. But there is a gradient, and that's the predictions due to gravity. Keep hand-wave dismissing it all you like. It's not going to make it go away. Now the burden is on you guys. Ozien and I have both presented evidence. With your remaining time, how about you two focus on presenting straightforward evidence that can stand up to scrutiny that the Earth is flat? We have met our burden. It is now your turn. Ozien, do you have anything to add?
I just want an internally consistent worldview for what they believe is true.
Yeah. Oh, that would be lovely. But yeah, no, let's give them the time to present their empirical, testable, repeatable evidence that takes all variables into account that the Earth is flat. And then we can discuss that, because we've done our bit. We've presented the evidence. They've dismissed it, but now it's their turn to present evidence.
Okay. Go ahead. You guys are on, Dave and...
All right. First of all, you didn't provide any empirical evidence. Not at all. Not at all. You said some things. You showed a picture, claimed it was gravity, that we were seeing gravity contain a gas. You still have not proven this whatsoever. Yes, we can show gas movement, but we do this in a number of ways, especially one of them is with temperature. Okay. Our burden of proof is not on a level topographical stationary plane. Nope. Not whatsoever. The positive claim is that of a globular Earth, which you have not provided any empirical evidence other than your haughty little attitude and saying some nonsensical things, Craig, because you still, in all of that, have not demonstrated a downward acceleration of air whatsoever. You cannot show me a volume of gas collecting together without some sort of containment. You cannot show this in any kind of an environment whatsoever. You cannot prove the weight of any of these gases either way without containing them. So I don't know what empirical evidence you have given, but you've given none other than a haughty attitude and saying a bunch of stuff. Showed a picture and claimed that we were seeing a force of gravity and that matches the predictions of gravity on gas, but you've never told us what those predictions of gravity on gas are, especially on the different elements of the gas. Go ahead, Dawn.
Sorry, I'm trying to pull up, but like my internet is a little bit bad. I've already given the travel path. It's an actual repeatable, measurable, observable fact that the sun does that. That does travel through the constellations every single year, and then again we have the equinoxes on the 20th of March and on the 22nd of September of every single year. We have the summer solstice on the 21st of June of every single year. We have the winter solstice on the 21st of December of every single year, and you can't explain that. And you're just explaining that away, the fact that that happens. And so you need to explain how that happens based off of your model, right? That's another way of debunking your alleged model. And I don't know why it's still not coming up.
When you hit the green screen, share screen button.
No, since my file can't be accessed. Sorry, maybe Dave, can you go on? I just might have to disconnect from Canada and connect in.
Just spouting the words that I have provided empirical evidence. No, you didn't. You showed some video of which I saw curvature change in various frames of that video. That's not evidence of anything. You tell us that these match your predictions of gravity on gas. You've not told us what those predictions are. You just showed a picture and said that that proves it. That doesn't prove anything. Not whatsoever. The first thing you have to do is show me somehow that you can have even a mass of gas formed together for any reason whatsoever. You got your thing yet, Don?
I have to go on the way back machine again, so it's just going to take me a bit of time. Sorry, that's
our time up with this. Then show it on the rebuttal.
I'll go to mute. Go ahead, guys.
Are you asking?
Sorry, Ozien, let me just be clear with something. When we're having a discussion in logic, the burden of proof does not always lie with the positive claim. In fact, in a discussion like this, the burden of proof lies with the position that goes against the status quo. So just saying that we don't have to give you, a burden is just ignoring your burden, and that's not going to fly. I did give you empirical evidence from a video. No, Dave, there is no different curvature. Just keeping on saying that there is. I personally checked to make sure, and you're welcome to do so in the after show. There is no different curvature other than what we expect. The predictions of gravity are simple. Gravity creates a force that is proportional to the product of the terminal masses, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. That means that the gradient is a prediction of gravity, because the further away from Earth the atmosphere is, the less attractive force there is, which means that there's going to be less the further you go away. And that's why there's more ground down here and less up there, because of the downward acceleration. But you cannot explain why there isn't an upward acceleration because of all the gas laws that you want to claim, but you ignore the gas laws that include gravity. I did give you empirical evidence, a video of the globe from space. That is the most empirical evidence that you could ever get. But also, I then cited a bunch of places with empirical evidence. I'll do it.
Okay, no more.
Shown any gas laws that use gravity at all? No, I said it's a whole host of different gas laws within a dynamic system, Craig. You've not proven anything. You have not shown a downward acceleration of air due to gravity. Try again. I'm done.
I'm trying to share my screen. Is it working? Sorry.
Yeah, I see like a story or something. It says summary.
Yeah, I'm trying to expand my screen again. Can you see the document?
We see the document. Yep. Now 404 page. Yeah.
All right. So which one were we at? Sorry, I just got to see which one you see. Okay. So that also says this is the one that you see. Okay. So this is from NASA. If this is one that you can see it moving? Okay, good. So I just did a search for flat, but this is an official document from the government. You can take a look at this yourself. I've shared this countless times. A mathematical model of the CH-53 helicopter. You can take a look at who wrote it, who created it, where it's from, etc. And then flat, I just did a search. Sometimes it doesn't come in. But what does that say? It says a flat, non-rotating Earth. Okay. And so, countless other times in here as well, it does say it. And I also have countless other official NASA documents and then Army publications, et cetera, where I have proven that they at least state it. And so let me just, and that's the one that I just got back from the Wayback Machine, because again, we are so heavily censored that I had to disconnect from a Canadian VPN, get onto an American VPN with a different separate IP address, and go on the Wayback Machine in order to even access that to give it to people. So and then there's other ones here as well that I have. The NASA reference publication 1207. I'm going to try to share that. Well, let me see if you can see that. And again, I've shared countless videos of this with like 30 plus official government documents, unclassified and declassified, that discuss that this is a flat, non-rotating Earth. So again, I'm showing you even from NASA, your gods, okay, not a real space agency. They're saying flat, okay, like you know. I don't know if you can see that.
Nothing right now, sharing.
Okay, let me see here. Anyway, I've shown.
Okay, good.
Sorry, I'm trying to find it.
Well, man, our timer's clicking out.
First time on Zoom.
Yeah, I'll go back to them. Go ahead. You guys are unmuted.
Yeah. Denying.
There it is.
Hold on.
Oh, okay. I thought I was talking.
Go ahead. You're good, Greg. You're up.
Yeah. So denying the things that I've said doesn't make them go away. I did give empirical data, a literal video from an amateur that can be repeated with a non-fisheye lens. Ozien presented evidence taken by himself. And then I told you where you can get a bunch of empirical evidence. So if you say I haven't given empirical evidence, it is just a lie. Dawn, what you are presenting are mathematical models which remove variables that are not needed for simplification. Page 7 of that document talks about gravity. It also talks about a rigid aircraft of constant mass. It talks about having an atmosphere of no wind, which are things that do not exist, just like the flat Earth. It is simplifications for modeling purposes, nothing else. And if we are going to accept anything that NASA says, we accept everything that NASA says. So either they tell the truth or they do not. If they, and if they do tell the truth, then they say the Earth is a globe. You can't use some things that NASA say and not others. That is literally called cherry picking. And that's just a simplification for modeling purposes, nothing else. So it's not evidence that the Earth is flat. So unless Ozien has anything else to add, I will put the onus back onto you two to give evidence that the Earth is flat.
Solstices and equinoxes, we know. I just want to shout out to the Devil Dogs Marines that worked on the friggin' Sea Stallions. Go, Devil Dogs! Woo, go, Marines! The Earth is a globe. Y'all know it, too. Anyways, I'll cede the floor. Oh, yeah. Vast. Y'all know who you are. 650! Go!
Whoop, whoop.
Wow. All right. Back to you guys.
Oh, I was just trying to share like just another document. And I don't know why anyone would say that it's all or nothing. Again, this is just very like unscientific, but there are things that are said that are true, and then some things that are not, right? You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater on things. But again, this is Army Research Laboratory. I'm showing you proof that even from NASA, who you guys keep on citing as your, your proof for everything, you haven't shown any evidence yet that is observable, measurable, or repeatable. That's fine. But here's, again, just another example. Propagation of electromagnetic fields over flat Earth. Yet again, and explain this away. This is another source from the government, Army Research Laboratory. Done.
Back to you guys.
Yeah, again, that's just modeling assumptions with simplifications. That's it. There's nothing in those documents that say the Earth is flat. They are just modeling documents. And when you model things mathematically, you remove extraneous variables that won't change the result. So yeah, they're just modeling documents. And to be clear, Dawn, you are the only one that has mentioned NASA during this debate. I showed stuff from an amateur and Ozien showed stuff from himself. So no, we haven't used NASA as evidence. We don't need to use NASA as evidence. We use stuff. And again, it seems to be either a lie or ignorance on your part, because you keep saying I haven't shown something that is testable and repeatable when I literally showed a rocket launch from an amateur, which is something that can be tested and repeated. So, I mean, you keep saying things that are clearly not true. You say I haven't given empirical data and evidence. I showed a video, a literal empirical video created by an amateur, which can be repeated and tested to verify. So to say I haven't done is a lie. And again, mctoon.net/r, mctoon.net/g, mctoon.net/spin all contain empirical data, measurements of the Earth's curve, rotation, and gravity. To say I haven't given those things is simply a lie. We have met our burden. Ozien, do you have anything to add?
We are talking about the Marine Corps and the Army too.
Are we? Okay, cool.
Yeah, she showed Army and Marine Corps manuals, but I'll see the floor.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. And they know the Earth's a globe based on their navigation tech. Yeah.
Even though they are Marines and soldiers.
Yeah. So to be clear, showing documents from people that agree that the Earth is a globe that are modeling simplifications is not any kind of evidence that the Earth is flat. And this is not meant as an insult. It just shows that you do not understand the documents that you are reading or their purpose. So once again, could you please present some empirical data that takes into account all variables, that is testable and repeatable, that shows the Earth is flat? Because we've done it for the Earth being globe. Over to you guys.
Okay. You guys are muted.
So you have not showing a video of a rocket going up and saying, look, there's some curve, and look, you can see gravity, right? That's freaking ridiculous, Craig. Was there any like barometric pressure readings taken all the way up or anything like that? And did you have any kind of a comparison as to how these different gases should behave due to gravity and how it matches any of these predictions? No, you just keep saying that crap. And then I don't know what you get out of it. You get like $5 every time you mention McToon's fucking website, for Christ's sake. Come on, bro. Do something a little different. You've not given anything, okay? And yes, I observe no curvature. I feel absolutely no movement. I would never have any reason to think that that I lived on a spinning ball for any reason whatsoever. Had no one told me that nonsense in the first place, no one with a right mind would. That's just ridiculous. Nobody would even entertain that. Dawn, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to, like, I'm not getting paid to say this or anything like that, but this is just something that I've been using for a little while. It's the Flat Earth Sun Moon Clock app, and so I've downloaded this app, and it's Dave Weiss that put this together and others, and it has so many questions that are answered in countless videos out there that you're not going to find because we're very heavily censored online, right? And so, where's the edge? Countless videos on this. If you click and you take a look at them. Things like, where does the sun go? What's under the flat Earth? Ships over the horizon, photos of the Earth from space, gravity, ? Seasons, Coriolis, we can see too far. There's so many things that can be answered and that can't be answered, and again, like with this, there's so much in here. I highly recommend people taking a look at this if we're going to recommend things. Again, we still haven't provided repeatable, measurable, observable data, still have not proven how there's this possible globe or ball shape when we do not see any curve. So that's still, and then again with just how this contained environment works and operates, there's no proof that you've given no proof of anything yet, is what I'm trying to say, to prove your globe model, right? And you guys are saying that the globe Earth model has been something that has been around for a long time. So what you're doing now is you're appealing to the majority during this era or this cycle of life, okay? But if you would appeal to the majority, again, in 390 BC, when Eudoxus, or however you friggin' spell his name, was alive, okay? That was the geocentric model, the astronomical mathematician who literally inspired, again, if he existed or not, inspired Aristotle and all these other people based on his divine clock that he was explaining. And even if you look at the astrological clock, or whatever you want to call it, it's a geocentric model, and it shows the sun's path through the zodiacal belt. And again, this is proven, observable, repeatable, which proves, that the sun is not 93 million miles away, like again, and that it's and again, in my videos on Dawn 189, I literally, like all these videos that you talk about, like I proved like one video with one rocket. Okay, so, I've showed countless videos of rockets going up and then coming down, and people retrieving them, and satellites, and et cetera. And so, like, hundreds of videos out there for people, possibly thousands. And so take a look at, anything other than MC Toon's website or anything that FTFE shows you, because at this point, I don't think that they're ever going to even consider looking at any other kind of view of the Earth, which is fine. But yeah, even with their discussion on refraction, explain refraction and explain how, like I'll reiterate, explain like the lens of a camera and a telescope, and explain how beyond that, for the observer's view, that you see ships and windmills, like all these things, again, beyond the alleged Earth curvature calculation, which again, Pythagoras, it was beyond 3 miles, you'd see 6 feet of alleged curvature. And there's been countless times throughout history, even with Robotham, I believe that was I think the 1800s, Dave, I don't remember, but anyway, Robotham and countless others throughout history that have literally said that this is a flat, stationary plane, and that it's the luminaries above that are again doing this circular motion, with the exception of the wandering stars, which have a little bit of again a sacred geometric path or circular path.
2 minutes for you guys.
Anyway,
just letting you know you have 2 minutes.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was I lost my train of thought. Anyway, and so still no and are you, and again, there's no physical geographical horizon that you guys and that's still, again, you need to have some kind of a curve or a slope in order to form this ball.
Yeah, I still haven't. I asked that. Where is how far is the physical horizon? Still have not given me that information either. And these are people who supposedly that's their empirical evidence. Look, that's it. Your air being held by gravity. Look, the sky. Okay, well, that looks good to me. Anyway, I'm done.
Okay, let's go back to you guys. Go ahead.
I define physical horizon as a tangent line from your eyes. The tangent line would be a line that goes from your eye to wherever the edge of the circle of the sphere was. That would be where the physical horizon was, no matter what direction you look. No matter if there's a box there, that would be where the horizon is. Anyways, yeah. I remember what she was going on about.
To the horizon depends on your altitude. There's a formula. I'm sure everyone knows what that is by now. And refraction is a thing that happens and can change where the horizon appears to be, but that's just because light is traveling through a medium with refractive properties. The physical horizon doesn't ever go away. And remember, for something to be refracted, it needs to be refracted because light has hit it and then traveled through a medium. What happens is what we expect. And Dave did exactly what I predicted. He dismissed everything that I said because I mentioned MC Toon's website. The web, where it is irrelevant. The information that MC Toon has gathered isn't just from another Glober or a YouTube video. It is scientific documents and measurements by professionals and links to those things. So just saying, oh, I'm not, you're using MC Toon's website. Who cares? It's the information on it that matters. And the information on it contains all the empirical data that you have asked for. Everything that you have asked for has been provided. We have shown you empirical evidence that the Earth is a globe. You are ignoring the fact that I showed you the Earth from space that looks like a globe. Everything that we see matches the predictions of the globe. And that's it. So please, can you just give us some empirical evidence that the Earth is flat? Over to you.
Well, really quick, I just want to speak since we got some time. We only have a minute left. All last week, I had experts on, I had theologians on, I had Christian experts on, Muslim experts on, Near Eastern experts on that went to school to actually study this stuff, that talked about ancient Near Eastern cultures, that I talked about Hindi cultures, I talked about South or North American, Central American cultures, and what they believed in. It seemed like they believed their worldview was what was around them. They didn't believe in continents or anything like that. They didn't believe in geocentrism. It was not that type of concept. Their worldview was their gods, their cosmology, heavenly bodies, multiple levels of heaven, not just heaven like you're thinking of. And sometimes they thought literally that they were on the back of a turtle with elephants on the top of them. It wasn't just a meme. In Hindu culture, sometimes the turtle was swimming in cosmic waters. Sometimes the turtle was on a giant snake, and I'll cede the floor.
Yeah. So can you guys please just in the last minute that you've got provide some empirical data that would suggest that the Earth is flat?
Why is this? Wait 1 second. I have countless times. You just refuse to look at it, which is fine. But sorry, Dave, for cutting you off. But I just wanted to share. If this is again, I'm not subscribing completely to this. This is just a visual graph. Again, just showing like possibilities. Like just more for like a visual representation. So you have Australia here. I just need to move this freaking thing. And you've got South America. And if you look at the globe Earth map model, right? These are approximate distances that are approximately 8,500 kilometers, give or take. And it's allegedly like a straight distance, so you can calculate this yourself. But when you connect it, and again, on the government websites, it shows that it doesn't do a connection, okay, like a curve. It does a, anyways. And so when you calculate it, though, using this, it's approximately, anyways. What I wanted to say is when you look at the globe Earth map, the approximate distance between these two locations is approximately 8,500 kilometers. But when you actually look at the flight paths that I've done, when you look at Cheapo Air, whatever website you want to look at for airlines, if you calculate the travel distance, right, not like the time that you're waiting and stuff like that, but the actual travel distance to go from those directions, I've looked at the flights, approximately 18 hours. Okay. And so when you calculate that times like the average,
go ahead. You guys finish it off.
How much time do we have?
4:43.
All right. Ozien, do you want to have a couple of minutes and then I'll have a couple?
Yeah, the scale on the Gleason map is horrible. It's like miles per degree, and the degrees are really wide. There's no scale on there, so you can't calculate distances using the Gleason map. And he was a flat earther too, so.
Yeah,
you talk about equinoxes and solstices is explained by axial tilts, and our orbit around the sun is perfectly explained by our understanding of gravity is perfectly explained by our orbit around the sun is perfectly explained by the model we have. We know that we can predict the equinox happening on April 8th, and we can perfectly predict that the rapture is not going to happen 40 days after the equinox on April 8th. And I really don't have much more to say. I saw no evidence that the Earth is flat. I just saw you showed perfect evidence of the curvature of the Earth, the horizon curve, and I showed evidence that water curves. They can reject it if they not. Is perfect empirical evidence for my belief that we live on a globe and for it to be a claim for knowledge. And we have, gosh, Dolly, dude, we have photos of a satellite, the Discover satellite, that's 1.5 million kilometers away from the Earth, beyond this moon sitting right here, like way out here, right? And here's the Earth. Way out here, there's this satellite. And it took pictures of the moon passing in front of the Earth. You can deny if you want. I don't. The majesty of the universe. If you believe in a God, then why does it matter? We exist necessarily if you believe in a God. There's no reason to believe that the universe doesn't exist, that this moon is not an actual physical concrete thing, that the universe is not a globe. There's no reason to accept these concepts are not true. Thank you.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? We could be in a simulation. I don't know. OpenAI and other AI developers right now are literally working on creating simulations of the entire world. And who's to say that we are not a simulation that was created by a simulation that was made by another simulation? Who knows? But that's irrelevant, because within this simulation, the Earth is a globe in a vast universe. That is the simulation that we live in, if it is a simulation. And in that simulation, the forces created by gravity are a thing that are measurable. In that simulation, space is a thing. In that simulation, if it is a simulation, the Earth is definitely not flat and is tested to be a globe that is rotating. You know, I cannot say that there's not a creator, that we're not in a simulation, because there's no way to ever prove that. But that's irrelevant, because the universe that we live in, that we can physically test, is bound by physical laws that all work out to the Earth being a globe in a vast, wonderful universe. And not understanding things is never, ever, ever going to debunk them. You will never debunk the globe or defeat the globe by strawmanning the things that we say. That's not how it works. Me and Ozien both presented empirical, testable evidence that the Earth is a globe. I told you where to find a bunch more, which you hand-waved dismissed. Your response was, here's a app by Dave Weiss, who's a proven liar, 3.5 lies per minute, that is a bunch of YouTube videos by other flat earthers. Whereas I gave you a place where you can go and find empirical data by professionals and scientists and physicists. You know, they are not the same. They are, you know, one is practically useless. The other is used in the real world. I am an engineer. I have a degree in physics. I have another degree in nuclear engineering. I have used gravity in projects that I have worked on. I have used gravity to navigate billion-dollar submarines because they use the gravitational potential difference of the floor underneath them to figure out where they are in real time. Gravity is a thing. Ozien?
5 seconds. My purpose, meaning, and value doesn't come from me living on this planet. It comes from my relationships with my friends, my family, and stuff like that. I don't have to believe that the Earth is in the center of reality for my life to have meaning and purpose. That's
time. It went well. Good, guys. It was exciting. I thought it went good. I think we got to hear from both sides much more than we usually do. You guys are all unmuted now. We will go to a minute outro for each person, or a minute conclusion, and then if anybody's got super chats, I saw a bunch of them come in, we'll get to those right after, so you can get your last ones in, either YouTube super chat or Rockfin. And I think you guys went first, right? So Don or Dave, which one you want us to go with your minute?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify because again, with these the Gleason map I was using just as a visual representation of what people are trying to discuss. And my point to that I wanted to continue on with is when you look at the globe Earth map, okay, it's approximately 8,500 kilometers away from those extremes, right? But when you actually calculate the travel distance of the aircrafts and the average distance they travel, it's approximately 13,500 kilometers, okay? So it's well beyond that distance. So there are a lot of questions, again, that like it's not a globe. You guys have not proven anything. There's been no observable, measurable, repeatable data given yet. I've shared countless examples. So has Dave, and you're going to continue to dismiss it. And so until we get to that point, I just don't know how to go beyond that. Dave?
I would also like to point out that the Gleason's map is actually based, it says, on the projection of J.S. Christensen. So any maps that are produced have to correspond with a Royal College of Maps Cartography, the Royal College of Longitude or Latitude. Yeah, Royal College of Longitude. They have to conform to these maps. So also the Gleason's map is more a timepiece than it is an actual geographical map. I saw absolutely no real empirical evidence. He kept saying that there was using gravity in your job to find displacement waves. That's interesting too. Gravity, where it's used in the description of an effect assumed to be by something called gravity. Okay, observed effects cannot be the cause. And again, we have not seen a demonstration of a downward force of air due to gravity, none whatsoever, yet it was postulated many times and claimed to be empirical evidence.
Time.
It's not.
Okay, who wants to go first over here? Craig or Ozien?
Ozien, over to you. You can go first, my friend.
You got a minute.
There's several websites you can go that refute all these claims about flight paths. You can go check them out yourself. There's multiple different flight paths. Flight paths are about fuel conservation, about where you can pick up passengers. There's multiple reasons why airlines choose the way they fly from point A to point B to back to point D over here and over to point C. Just, they're weird. I was in aviation for 11 years. So there's tons of sources you can go look to refute them. I saw no evidence for the flat Earth. They just reject gravity and stuff like that, but they haven't explained why there is a downward acceleration, because there absolutely is a downward acceleration. Everybody can see things fall. They never explain what that concept is. They just reject the Cavendish experiment, which anybody can test. Now, the tests that you can do on your own are sort of hard to do. You have to do it correctly, though. So But there are really good tests. You can go check them out on YouTube. The good ones, that is.
All right, thank you much. We're going to unmute everybody. Hopefully we are going to be able to coexist. I'm going
to get a minute close in as well.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to give you one. All right, go ahead.
So you didn't present any evidence for the flat Earth. I kept asking you. You said some stuff, but none of it was evidence for the Earth being flat. Whereas Ozien and I both presented evidence of the Earth being a globe. And to clarify my statement about the submarines, it's not displacement waves, whatever you said. There is literally a ring of accelerometers around the submarine springs with weights on, basically, that react to the gravitational potential of the mountains underneath the sea, and literally map the seafloor in real time. It allows the submarines to stay extremely stealthy, while still knowing where they are. It is due to gravity. Everything that I have explained is a prediction of gravity. For dismissing it, it is just showing that you do not understand the argument in the first place. And that all the flat Earth is just not understanding the argument, not understanding the position that we hold. We gave evidence, you didn't. That means that if this was a debate, there would only be one side that won. That would be my side. And yes, Dave, you can do that all you like. Maybe you don't have someone to do it for you. That's kind of something to do in your own time.
And time.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Timer, we got some super chat questions. We'll try and get those quickly. Thank you, Don, for joining the club. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Justin Johnson. Thank you, Matthew, for some gifted memberships, 5 of them. And then we've got Illiterate said, Craig Ozien, if space is real, why are they faking it? ISS in a pool, green screens, Tesla Roadster, bad CGI, etc.
Loaded question fallacy. Like, I don't believe they're faking it. They have to do testing. I was in the Navy. We did drills all the time. Nukes did them more than we did because our planes actually broke all the time.
Yeah. To follow up on that, as a submariner, I had to do deep diving escape training, and we went to a massive tower of water in a town called Gosport called the SETI, the Submarine Escape Training Tank. And does that mean that because there is a massive tank of water that I tested my escape abilities and that submarines aren't real? No. There is a model of the ISS underwater because that's the closest you can get to being in space without actually going to space. Mm-hmm. To claim that it's all fake is just you making a claim. It's not fake. Unless you can prove it's all fake, that's just a claim.
Okay, so gas needs a container. Water, large bodies of water need a container. Okay, and you have proven no curvature. And I've proven countless times, okay, even with government data that says flat, non-rotating Earth. And if you want to talk about all your accolades, okay, I was at RMC. I won top awards there. Okay, I was top Army officer when I was there. I was one of 2 cadets selected to go to West Point on exchange. I was in the Special Forces. I was the first female to be in the history of the PPCLI in the regiment, to like a female officer. And I have awards. I deployed as well. I've been in helicopters. I've jumped out of them. And I JTF too. So again, like, I don't know why you guys are bringing this stuff up because it has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Congratulations. I never brought up my accolades.
But I'm just saying you guys are all bringing up all of this stuff as if it matters to the discusation. It doesn't.
I didn't bring any of that up. You did. I'm very confused.
Nuclear engineer and all these things I've done, and like I'm doing this and I've been on.
I was just saying what is relevant to the conversation.
This is a globe. This is debunking the globe.
No, we were asked a question by the audience about why there was a pool for the ISS people.
Exactly.
It was just a response to the question.
We used our experience to explain why they would do that.
Oh, right. I see. It's kind of language comprehension issues. It's no worries, Dawn.
Thank you.
You don't need to insult her.
Yeah, did Ozempic the free...
Je peux parler en français aussi parce que je viens de Québec et je parle français. Donc c'est un petit peu difficile de parler anglais avec vous autres.
Well, you don't need to insult him either.
In the language we
I'm
don't
not
understand.
insulting anyone.
Hang on.
True Norther.
Il y a personne ici qui parle français.
Okay, well, I don't want to use a mute. True Norther 93 says, did Ozempic the free Martian forget to take his blood pressure medication tonight? Don't know what. Anybody know who that's
Martian?
to?
From where?
Ozempic the free Martian.
I took 4 blood pressure medications
so it was to you?
Tonight so far. I have another pill to take. Actually, tonight I took them this morning. I don't know if it's for me. Am I a Martian? I get called like a devil, Nephilim, Jew.
Well, that's because you do the Satan horns in thumbnails.
Oh, is that this? They think I'm a Martian?
Yeah. I just wouldn't do it. Yeah, it's just me. I guess you're probably like the same crew that like the CERN used the 666 logo for their CERN factory for whatever reason. Is that kind of the same thing? They just do it for fun.
666, number of the man, number of the beast. Iron Maiden.
Goodness. All right.
Maybe those antennas on My Favorite Martian was, little horns coming up out of his head.
If you don't want me to sing, I'll sing. Hold on. Can I sing the song my pet sings?
Go ahead.
Ozien, we talked about you singing.
Mary has a little.
Sorry, guys. I told him not to do this.
I don't know what's going on.
I can't.
November says Dawn for Canadian President of the United States. Wait. Dawn for Canadian President of the United States. All right.
Well,
I'll vote this one time as a citizen national of Quebec.
We've got SCOTUS. God, I can't read that. Scott JS 985 says, Dawn, can you show evidence to support your claim that geocentrism started with NASA? Also, not a real space agency would be NARSA.
That was a very specific thing you said, yeah.
Remember, these super chats are old. They're like,
they're just going to keep on it. Like, I'm not even going to entertain that question. I'm not, because they already said it like countless times about Copernicus allegedly existing and stuff like that. And it's starting possibly with him. So I'm just not going to entertain that at all. It's stupid.
Well, but you did say that NASA created the heliocentric model. Those were your words.
Geocentrism or heliocentrism? The question says geocentrism.
I'm pretty sure she said that NASA made the heliocentric model, which isn't even the model that we subscribe to. But those were definitely Dawn's words, that NASA made the heliocentric model.
So you know what? I apologize if I misspoke and I tried to explain myself immediately afterwards, not with people yelling at me, but literally said, actually, Copernicus, if you would actually go back to it. So we could keep on going. I will apologize. I am sorry for that. I tried to clarify it's not enough for people.
Are you a Tartarian?
I accept.
I don't understand what that has anything to do with what we're talking about. And again, I'm debunking.
Again, it was just a response to that, Dawn.
So that's all. And so if we can clarify, I'm actually a woman enough to actually admit when I have to correct myself.
And I appreciate
on live TV because I don't care.
Well, and Scott says he did come back and change it.
Thank you very much.
He did come back and change it. Heliocentrism, not geocentrism.
I've tried to. That's why I've been trying to clarify that since the start. I don't know why it's keeping they're just bringing it up to waste time.
Hey, can we give Dawn a round of applause? This is her first. This is Dawn's first debate ever, so I think she did good, and we need to give her a round of applause. And usually people aren't so on top of you, but
I don't think Dawn realizes that Dawn, that super chat was from when you first said it, so they're not bringing it back up. And I personally do appreciate the reaction. And that's great.
It's like 2 hours old.
I tried to before. I kept on trying to. I don't understand. That's what I mean. I was saying that's not what I was trying to say.
Yeah. So these first super chats were
again, that has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with flat Earth or globe Earth, and I've refuted and completely debunked the globe Earth.
Yeah. Okay, Nadir, when I do debates with Nadir, he gets all mad because people are asking questions that are 2 hours old. I'm like, Nadir, these questions were 2 hours, 3 hours ago.
Not 3 hours.
And every time he gets
that
mad.
Makes sense.
Right.
Why is the moon, this is from True Norther 93, says, why is the moon coming out of the southwest recently, Craig?
Because that's where it's supposed to come from. Matches the predictions.
Matches the predictions, makes it the globe, right.
Yeah. I mean, the question is why? Well, that's because that's where it's supposed to come from. Just saying, so there.
Gotcha.
I'll put on my Christian hat here. I'll pretend this is a Muslim hat because God deemed it so.
Isn't that called a kufi? Isn't that what they call that?
This is Dumbledore's hat.
I think they call it a
horrendous.
kufi. I think that's what the African word for that is, a kufi or something like that.
I'll go put on my white robe.
And what is that?
It's definitely styling, brother.
This is a Harry Potter dragon one.
Wow.
I think it's a Pharisee hat, man.
It could be. It says Harry Potter or something like that.
We got 3Ron says McToon's laws of Flurf on full display tonight. Thank you, 3Ron.
Why are you calling them Flurfs? They're globe skeptics.
Thank you. That's nice of you. Chris says Flurfs are daft as bricks. Gotta lie to Flurf. Thank you, Chris, for the $2 Australian. We've got
bricks can't talk.
John Zimmer, $30. Holy smokes! Thanks for showing up, Dave and Dawn, with substance and an honest approach. It's okay to believe a lie. Them boys are just acting dishonest and afraid, likely Professor Dave fans.
Don isn't lying. I don't like Professor Dave.
Oh, you don't? You're not a Professor Dave fan?
Oh, really?
So it must be Don and Dave that like Professor Dave.
I really doubt that.
No, and he's not a real professor, so I'll just throw that out there.
I mean, technically, he is a real professor because he taught
he's
at
not.
college.
No,
he's not.
He taught at college, which, according to the American definition of professor, that would make him a professor.
No, it wouldn't. He's not a professor.
I don't like his approach in debates. Let's just say
If I put on a badge and pulled people over, it doesn't make me a freaking cop. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't like his philosophy either. I'm more philosophical.
Yeah, I like that. I want to talk to you more, Ozien. You know, you got some cool. I think you're down for some deep conceptual talk, man.
Yeah. I can fix your epistemology.
You're gonna fix Dave's?
Maybe.
I want to see that. Well,
Yeah.
should be good.
See that unchained mind part of my name?
I'll unchain it for you.
It's already
unchained. You're missing it.
So you say.
All right, we've got. Thank you very much, John Zimmer, for that one. We've got 3 Ron again. Says globe has been an established fact for 2,500 years. Flat Earth absolutely has burden of proof, and there has been zero evidence of it provided. So says 3 Ron. All right, any comments on that one?
Yeah, so a couple of dudes sitting around in Greece in a bathhouse talking about balls is not the consensus of the entire world. Okay, there was a cult of people, the Pythagoras cult, that believed in this whole thing about spheres and them being the most perfect shape and all this other nonsense. And they sat around and speculated on this. Did this mean that the entire world believed this? No, not at all. In fact, if we look at model representations and drawings of various cultures throughout the ages, expanding back beyond this time frame that you speak of, we see that they had a level contained Earth cosmology.
It wasn't an Earth cosmology. It's a worldview that was local to where they lived. I've said this like a dozen times. Go watch my series of videos I did last week and learn about what their cosmology actually entailed. It was religious cosmology. And to put it back, you're right. What they believed 2,500 years ago was a spherical concept. It was epistemic luck. They got lucky. Correct. We didn't know until later, but we do know for sure now that it's globe because by golly gee, we have pictures.
Then why is there this debate?
Yeah. CGI overlays.
Because some people doubt that they even exist.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you just hand wave dismiss it? Just go, well, those people are, who cares?
Did you hear me, Dave? Some people believe, some people doubt, some people are unsure if they live in a simulation or not. I'm talking to you, Craig. Some people don't know if they live in a simulation.
We're not, Ozien. Go on, prove we're not in a simulation. I fucking dare you. You can't do it.
I just know I'm not. I will say
in the long run,
a shadow of doubt.
This is some kind of video game simulation. I do agree with that.
There's two people that aren't sure if they live in a simulation or not. I have no doubts I'm not. See? So we could have a debate right now about if we're living in a simulation or not. And so should we have a debate, Dave? So there we go, Dave. So you want to have a debate about the shape of the Earth. There's people that doubt if the Earth even exists. Yeah. They're not sure.
Yeah, but who cares? Why would it exist? Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Why would it, you notice that there's not a whole you don't listen to me.
You understand. You just refuted your own claim.
Listen to Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
Listen to me for a second. Why in the world isn't there a bunch of people like yourselves that are out there just wanting to go after the simulation theory? And you people are crazy, and you guys
I don't
see any of that.
Yeah, but where's he's saying
for it?
He's saying where's the channel?
Russell says that this is like light in motion, and so there's a visible and non-visible light spectrum that occupies this cosmos, right? And so even with electricity and magnetism or electromagnetism, this is light in motion, like talking about the visible and non-visible light spectrum. And so for me, this is possibly a video game that's being connected into some kind of a power source, just like Super Mario Bros. Or whatever. I'm definitely dating myself. And so even like that, like there's a creator or a designer of the game, and or multiple and different patents and different, whatever. But there's coding within the game that can't be messed with essentially unless the creator like upgrades or develops a new game, etc. And so I'm not dismissing that. I'm open to that concept, but even with the visible and the non-visible light spectrum within the center, this is just interesting, but it's you've got the green at the center. And so even within this multidimensional Earth plane, we see more shades of green than any other color. So I'm just thinking that's interesting and just more to do with an electromagnetic reality being projected on a flat plane of inertia via hyperboloids and toroidal fields.
I would just say,
to answer Dave's question, why isn't there a bunch of people out going against simulation theory, but there is against flat Earth? Because you could never disprove that we're in a simulation, but it's quite easy to disprove the Earth is flat.
But why bother? Why bother? If I made a claim that the sky was tartan plaid, how much time would you spend convincing people that it's not?
He would start a whole channels, fight the plaid sky.
I mean,
Most people, well, here's what follows, in my opinion, what follows from doubting the shape of the Earth is cynicism towards things that I believe are important, like, I hate to say it, like vaccines,
very important.
trust in a lot of stuff I think is critical to humanity in general.
Yeah, I've never had.
I don't know what your point is to that.
Intervention to. I've never had to take any man's intervention to keep me alive.
Well, I'm not talking about you in particular, but I'm talking about people that are like, you remember like this big Scientology movement, maybe not Scientology, but there's big movements that are preventing children from like getting medical care because of their religious beliefs and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
like
you said vaccines though.
Yeah. I do mean vaccines too. But I talked to a guy who claimed.
What exactly are you talking about regarding vaccines? Like, I don't get
YouTube doesn't like that conversation.
Exactly. And so if you want to go there, again, I am an analyst, top secret government clearance, and I have data from the government, medical, scientific, and government data. Okay. Regarding the, anyways.
Jeranism, do you want this debate?
No, I mean, we could, no.
I talked about it on Rumble, Don 189, and I shared proof.
Yeah, but both Jaren and I are streaming, so it's probably best not to talk about that here because it could affect both of our channels.
I'll just leave it at this. Y'all can.
Don't bring it up then. Then don't bring it up.
You're welcome to mine. That's all I'll say on it.
I just said it brings
cynicism. I'll bring the VAERS.
I'll
bring the Pfizer VAERS, the vaccine adverse events reported.
What about somebody who said
I could bring those up?
Somebody who didn't take their kid to a doctor who had 108 fever, verified their kid had 108 fever. He didn't take their kid to the emergency room. Decided to pray instead.
Well, that's a little bit different. That's a little bit different.
Okay.
But I mean, because, they changed the definition of vaccine, which is without even us knowing that that's science. Change the definition, come up with something new. It's a new mRNA vaccine. It's completely different, experimental. And you're like telling people it's important that we take experimental stuff.
Well, it's not just
I'm talking about smallpox, dude. People deny smallpox vaccines do anything.
There's a couple books I can give you to read.
Oh my God.
Me too.
The life expectancy of the human population went from 1790.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. We don't endorse it. Okay. Sir Link said, how big does an object have to be in order to feel its gravity? I'll tell you. A mountain, a car. Why aren't we colliding with large objects if everything has pull?
Because the force is very, very small. It's proportional to the product of normal mass, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So, the Earth is only big enough to create an acceleration of 9.8 meters per second squared. So the acceleration created by like Mount Everest is like 0.000000001 meters per second squared. Gravity is it creates a very weak force is the answer.
We counted at zero when it comes to the Earth.
Isn't Everest part of the mass of the Earth?
Yeah, but I just said if you take Everest in isolation, its acceleration would only be what I said. But the Earth as a whole creates an acceleration of 9.81 meters per second squared, roughly.
So it's not even just that the Mount Everest, the peak, is actually trying to collapse to the center mass of the Earth, but you have all that force of the mountain that's sort of pressing against it's trying to collapse to the center, because the Earth wants to be a sphere, but it's also spinning, and that force of the spin of the Earth is causing it to expand outwards. So that's why it's a oblate spheroids, slightly wider than it is. Paul.
It's a little fat down below.
How can an object be the source of its own pressure on itself? That's ridiculous.
It's how gravity works.
How gravity
you
works.
cannot. You don't have to accept the concept. That's fine. I don't expect you.
I mean, we
That's
don't
how Santa
ever
Claus
see any
works.
evidence of that.
Everybody grab an item right now. Grab an item around your desk and just realize that there's a center of it and it's pulling into itself perpetually forever and ever. That's how gravity works.
Yeah, but the material strength is obviously stronger than the force.
But the force is in there, right? I mean, if we get the force is inside that item.
All mass is gravitational.
Right. All mass. This remote control has some sort of energy pulling to it. It's cool. Joe Cool says, am I hearing this right? The flat earthers want evidence and won't present any. Any comments?
Yes, that's exactly what happened there.
Okay.
But there's a firmament, but we don't know what it is.
I never claimed a firmament.
You didn't. I know.
Dawn did.
I said some kind of a contained environment because you need to have a contained environment for the gas pressure to operate as it does on this cosmos.
Yeah. You both claimed there was a container, but you didn't explain what it was.
Unless you can demonstrate a gas pressure system without containment.
Why are they talking to us about things like they're alleging things that don't exist? And again, it's not measurable, repeatable, observable. We're showing you measurable, repeatable, observable examples of contained gas pressure. Like my friggin' propane tank, for example. And you guys are not showing anything to suggest. Anyways, it's just ridiculous to me.
If you're claiming there is a container, show the container.
No, it's angle of elevation says $5 says a pressure gradient pressure gradient is 2 the sound vector acceleration according to Euler's equations, quasi-linear hyperbolic maths governing flow and fluid dynamics. Hopefully that's 2.
Congratulations. Those were all words.
Thank you.
I don't. What?
He said, thus the gradient is not caused by magic from decor sucking air down, but infrasound pushing the pressure we have already down. Craig is wrong again.
Well, that's a lovely bunch of with zero evidence behind them and a misunderstanding of how gravity works to boot. So good job. Gold star for you, my friend.
3 Ron says the geocentric model was of a spherical Earth because they knew the fact that the Earth is spherical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kango 44, Jeranism, you should know both of the flat Earth people on this show are paid shills. As a truther, you should not have bad faith actors on the show.
I wish I was paid.
Thank you, Kango 44.
I got a response to that.
Well, I got a response to that too. Can you imagine if I gatekept the show by saying, "Oh, these people are not real flat earthers, and these people are"? It's just ridiculous what people think. Get away with it.
That's called the no true Scotsman fallacy, and it isn't fair. Plus, when I authorized the payment to both Dawn and Dave, we agreed we wouldn't talk about them being shills live on. Oh shit!
Again, I've been doing this 9 years. We haven't caught a shill yet, so. Jeranism. Oh, I read that one. The McToons.
How the hell am I a shill if I'm not even monetized? I haven't even monetized my channel. I don't give a fuck.
People did that.
These guys will tell you that you get paid, on the side.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I have NASA payroll send you a check directly, so you don't need to monetize your channel.
People said I won't debate anybody else, but I'll debate you two. I'm like, I debated Wits on Saturday. Like shit.
November says the McToons lose. That's your guys' new team name, the McToons. The McToons lose.
Even though McToons here.
Yes, still shots of Earth curve. Play the video, Craig. Can't do it. Ozien's drone proof is just retarded. Neither empirical. Losers. D&D. Get through. Get through.
D&D.
I don't know. Dave and Don, I believe.
D&D.
No,
Oh.
Dave and Don.
Earth
No,
reset.
not that kind of stuff.
This is D&D.
Can you ask Dawn and Dave when they will actually address the evidence provided instead of the hand wave dismissal with nuh-uh and incredulity? Man, you guys love those words. Dave, can you discuss that?
As soon as I actually see some repeatable, demonstrable evidence, not somebody pointing at the sky going, gradient, that would be really cool. I also try to not obscure away from shit where this is the way I figure it. You can have a theory, and then if you put the word scientific in front of it, then it can be whatever bullshit you want it to be, and then it eventually become a law. So I guess if I put scientific in front of the word bullshit, that'll make it real, right?
And Ozien, let me make sure I understand what you kept showing there. So you're saying that if I were to put a box on the floor of my garage and show it from camera angle down low and then lift it up, that it wouldn't, the angle that I increased to that box wouldn't show more of it as it went higher? Is that what you're saying? You're saying that by going up, the item stretched top to bottom, right? Is that what you're showing your boat was doing? Maybe I didn't misunderstood your proof there.
So you're seeing the side of the ship. So you're seeing the side of the ship.
Right. So you're saying it grows up and down, top to bottom. Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should try it with take a block and go put it in your garage and do the same thing and then see if it grows.
Well, so if it grows and not just the top of the thing, but the problem is the block is short compared to the ship. So
yeah, I'm talking about percentages. You said it was a percentage.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
So
go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, and also I want to point out that when you change your viewing angle of an object like that, you're going to get a bit of parallax on your view of that flat surface. Where you were looking at it this way, it's going to appear to be a little bit shorter
and
when
stretch
you
it
change
this
the
way.
angle, but you'll pick up more of the top of it.
Right.
But that's also at an angle too, so you're going to have to deal with perspective.
Flurfs, what happens to smoke when you smoke in the car?
Goes out the window, man.
Not when you grew up with my dad, but
same here.
That's how I started smoking. I grew up with my mom and dad smoking in the car.
Yeah,
in
that's
the
what we
winter.
did too. You had like a pack on the way to the Giants game every.
They made laws where you can't smoke with your kids in the car anymore. So
I hope so.
Taking some kids up to the bus stop, I made them get out. I didn't care if it was cold or not. I said, I'm having a cigarette. You guys wait out there while I'm done.
Yeah, you're doing the right thing there.
Moving, not moving. Are the windows up or the windows down? Like, is there a wind? Is there not wind? Like there's so many factors to.
I don't know. That's what they say. What happens to smoke when you smoke in the car? The Glober mom. Go ahead.
I said I smoked 4 packs a day. I never put one in my mouth. So. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
I talked to somebody yesterday. I can't say who it was, but they told me that they started smoking when they were 3. So they told me. They said they were smoking.
Hey, I don't find that hard to believe. My friend,
I believe the guy actually. After
I got pictures of him. He was smoking when he was like 9 years old, 8 years old, walking around with a pack of cigarettes in his pocket, smoking. His dad and mom didn't care.
Crazy. The rings in the CERN logo are supposed to depict the accelerator chain and the particle tracks. They have nothing to do with 666. It's just pareidolia. Yeah, you can say that, Glober Mom, but if you're a scientific enterprise and then your logo comes out looking like a 666, you would just change it. That's what you would do. Nobody would be like, it looks like a 666, but who cares? It's pareidolia.
For the same reason they don't have 13th floors, right? In old buildings, they go from 12 to 14 in these old buildings.
And it's not just them. It's Google. It's Disney. There's a lot of, they all have the 666 in there.
The 13th floor is a cultural thing. So some countries don't care about the 13th floor. Depends on what country you go to. So I've been all over the world in the Navy. So some countries won't have a 13th floor. Some countries will.
Wait until you run across witch steps. You ever seen them? They're up in Pennsylvania Dutch area.
And some people follow a solar calendar. And so for the lunar calendar, it's there's 13 full moons in a year, depending on where you start the year. And so that's where it comes from. So there's different countries as well that also track the calendar system differently. And there's actually different areas of the world that have different calendar years right now, right? So like even with the Hebrew, for example, and people in Africa having different dates than 2024 even. And so all interesting stuff.
Ozien Craig, why isn't the most massive part of the ISS creating local gravity?
It does.
Why isn't the most massive part of, you mean to the astronauts? Well, because the mass of the ISS is so small, the gravitational force created by it would be tiny compared to the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a misunderstanding that the astronauts are, they don't have any gravity. The ISS actually has about 88% of the gravity that we have down here, but it's in free fall. So, the astronauts within it are floating because they're in free fall.
They should do the math. The formulas are available online. They can get the mass of the ISS, get the mass of the astronauts, do the maths, see what the gravity would be.
You could get the Earth curve calculator. You can calculate, that the alleged Earth curve. You could go at it yourself and see that there's no friggin' curve. You can do that yourself
too. Take fraction into account, yeah.
Bill Tetley says Dawn supposedly was a top secret clearance, yet here she is on social media talking about it. Gotta lie to Flurf.
Yep.
Well, you can say you had a clearance, but
I think you're allowed to say that.
I'm pretty sure.
No, because I don't think
I had top secret clearance because I was a nuclear engineer. I mean, I guess you're allowed to say that, you know.
Same with,
and because like I haven't shared anything that's like not open source or unclassified or declassified. So like, I'm not sharing anything like that. I never have, never will. And so
I had a secret clearance just to do IFF and all that stuff. So
no, nice.
Wow. Okay. Mount Everest force is so weak, yet he can sense underwater mountains at work. I think that's to you, Craig.
There is still a force. Yes, the extremely precise instruments on board multi-billion-pound submarines are able to detect. It's called gravity gradient navigation.
Okay, LJ says, Jaren, can you team up with Witsit on a modern-day debate? We've done that before. There's one there. You can go find it against, I don't remember, Planar Walk and somebody else. And let's go to Rockfin, see if we got any last ones there, and then we'll be saying our goodbyes. Thank you guys for being here so much. And remind in the chat or in the comments, make sure you tell me what you thought of the show. What do you think of the structure? I thought it was good because we got to hear everybody talk. I didn't have to hear Craig say, "Can you let me finish?" In the middle of my sentence, you popped. I didn't have to hear that 55 times, which made it a good show. RG the Artist says, for the Globers, in order to get your gravitational model to work, you have to solve the three-body problem. So could both you explain with specificity, I think I said that right, how to solve this problem?
You break it down to a series of two-body problems and iterate your solution. It's been done thousands of times.
Yeah. And I can just use my drone to see a curve. So yeah, I think is he talking about geocentrism, like movement?
No, he's talking about the three-body problem.
I know what the three-body problem is, but that's about movement, right?
Well, yeah, it's about gravitational movement and how a third body can cause chaos, but it's fine. You just break it down to a series of two-body problems. And that way, it's the three-body problem has been solved so many times. In fact, a team of researchers in South Korea recently created an extremely precise mathematical solution to the three-body problem. But the maths would probably go way over my head, so no, I couldn't explain it with specificity. But I'm sure if you did a bit of research and looked into the recent calculations of the three-body problem, you could go over the papers yourself.
I looked it up yesterday because somebody brought it up with the new Netflix series that came out. I was like, isn't that a mathematical problem to calculate like three bodies anyways, I'm still not entirely sure about it. I am not a mathematician. Okay. I was a aviation electronics technician. I have a 2-year degree. I took a bunch of tests and got.
Thank you very much. We got Matthew De Gregorio. Thank you very much. And then we've got
a business degree.
I don't know what's going on here. Bill says, why did you ignore my first super chat? Which one, Bill? Which is your first one? This one here that says Dawn supposedly has top secret. We read that one. The one before that was, can you ask Dawn and Dave when they will address the evidence provided instead of the hand-wave dismissal with nuh-uh and incredulity? We asked that one. Bill, you have to send another super chat for wasting time.
So I shared like the sine wave path that the sun takes up in its circular motion. I've shared that. And I shared with that again every single year with precision. I talked about the equinoxes and the solstices and how north and south latitude, beyond from the equator, 23.4 degrees north and south latitude, that's the furthest the sun travels on its path. And this is a measurable distance. 23.5 degrees equates to approximately 1,660 miles, etc. So I showed that. I explained it. It's observable, measurable, repeatable. That's how you know your sun sign or like astrology, etc. It's based on that. Right, and that uses a geocentric model. So I shared that. Irrefutable evidence. I prove it's irrefutable. Regarding like gas requires a container. All right. No, like you not demonstrated with this Earth with a geographic physical horizon. You would need that in order to have a globe, right? You need to have a slope and a curve in order to make a friggin' globe, like you guys allege. And water, large bodies of water seek level. You have still not addressed that, and you explain it away with all these magical theories and this magical fairy dust and unicorn, whatever you want to call it, rainbows. But just like Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, subjective reality does not have anything to do and does not apply when we're discussing objective reality, which has its place with business, government, engineering, science, like the STEM fields, etc. And so I have given that. I've given government documents, including from NASA and Army publications, that show that it discusses their flat, non-rotating Earth.
Modeling documents, modeling documents. That's right, yeah.
Thank you, Bill.
Goodness. Okay, call it what you want. Again, like magical fairy dust. Just explain it away.
Again, water doesn't find anything. Water just conforms to forces acting on it.
I hate to break it to you, but water, like large bodies of water And again, not even that large. Like more like it seeks level.
Actually, did you know the surface of the ocean isn't
Here's your evidence.
We have satellite data showing that the surface of the ocean isn't flat, and actually, as well as the Earth curve, conforms to the shape of the floor of the ocean. So no, water doesn't find its own level. It just conforms to forces acting on it.
Okay, for sure that's what they mean. They don't think it like goes seeking. Craig, Sanchez mopped the floor with you months ago. Don and Dave are doing it now. You globalists need to look at the research these geniuses are presenting to you.
Funny how.
Thank you very much, Matt.
Robert Sanchez basically called me a bunch of racist stuff and booted me off his stream, said that planes fly above the sun, and then said a bunch more racist stuff about me. So I don't think Robert Sanchez wiped the floor with me at all. Yeah, I don't know which stream you watched.
What did he say that was racist exactly? Can you give an example since you're on live TV right now saying that?
I would rather not repeat the things. It is already on a stream on my channel.
You call you cracker?
You can't even give like an example since you're defaming someone. That's slander.
Again, I would rather not repeat the things. I've already discussed it on my channel, and I discussed it again in the following stream. The things that Brother Sanchez said were highly racist and inappropriate, and he also admitted on the next stream that he pulled the racist card.
Okay.
Premise one: if you have to declare you won a debate, you didn't win the debate. Premise two: you declared you won the debate. Therefore, conclusion: you didn't win the debate. There. Argument one.
How is the ISS going 17,500 miles per hour with 80% gravity? Says LJ.
It's falling.
That's the speed it needs to go to maintain its orbit. That's nothing with gravity.
It injected itself in that orbit. It's maintaining its momentum because of laws of motion. Like, did everybody not learn like basic physics, like in grade school, laws of motions?
So if we emptied a bag of Skittles into the ISS, how long should it take them to gather together as a sphere?
Well, the force created by gravity of those Skittles is way smaller than the force created by air resistance. So it probably wouldn't happen.
It probably would scatter with people moving around in there and stuff like that.
All the gas is going to form up
together to form a, exactly. Explain
all
that.
the gas is going to form up in the middle of the space station at the center of its gravity.
No, that's
they have circulation in the space station. They have
gravity.
All right, so what if we throw the Skittles out in space? Throw the Skittles out in space. Well, then how long till they make it fall?
Listen, they have air circulation in the spaceship. They have heating in the spaceship.
No, outside the spaceship.
So it's dynamic.
Throw the Skittles out in space. How long till they gather around and become?
If you throw them out in space, they're going to carry the momentum of you throwing them out in space.
Let them go like this. Let them go.
Like the astronaut that lost track of her tool bag, and Witsit called her a tool and made sexist comments about her because Witsit's sort of a jerk. I just have to say that.
That was epic.
Like, he called me a liar on Saturday, which I'm not too happy about.
We noticed.
Because I don't lie.
Players, that's the thing.
All right, thank you, Bill. Bill says, sorry, Jaron, I didn't hear the first one, and we just got one more over here, and we are good. The last one is, I lost my, we've got, two more. How would the globular lists account for long-distance observations in the same place with totally different atmospheric conditions?
What?
The long distance observations change with atmospheric conditions, and the world record one, the person that took it says that was unusual to see those refractive conditions. So that was the outlier. Normally you can't see that far. So you're not going to get the same shot with different refractive conditions.
Yeah, there's camera apps that actually predict it for you. You can go out there you can tell it what picture you want, and it'll tell you what time of day and when to go to get that particular picture you want, depending on the refractive conditions.
And then Fishhead Montana said, then can I get a flat earth steelman? I'm sorry. Can I get the flat earth steelman of long distance observations from the Globers?
Flat earth steelman.
So steelman long distance observations is what they're saying.
Oh.
Why you see things long distance at elevation,
or from wherever you're at that you see too far. That's what he's asking.
Human sea level.
I think he said it had to do with field of vision. As you go up in elevation, you get less compression at the horizon when you're on a higher elevation.
Okay. Craig, anything?
Was that?
Sounds good to me.
Sorry, I dropped out for a second, so I didn't hear the question.
He said, can you steel man long distance observations? Flat Earth long distance observations. Can you steel man that? Craig has steel manned it before. What is he's frozen?
He's
that was
frozen.
weird. That was weird. I was tripping out.
I got 4 minutes left, man.
Okay. Craig, anything?
I wrote it down
All right.
somewhere.
Yeah, what is going on?
Okay, we'll just we'll have everybody say goodbyes. Go ahead and just tell people where they can find you. Thank you guys so much for doing this. I think it went well. It gave me some ideas, and we'll just keep getting better. I probably need a co-host because I don't know if I can get to all those things on my own, but we did a good enough job. Dave, go ahead, send us out of here. Tell us where they can find you.
All right, you can find me in about 2 more minutes on Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, and also that's on YouTube, and also at SSUM369 on Rumble. So hope to see you all over there.
Awesome. And Dawn.
Okay, so you can find me on YouTube. I'm using my name, so Dawn Dussault on YouTube. Again, I can't post for a week. So if you want to find me, you're going to find me on Rumble or X. And on Rumble, my handle is Dawn189. And so, and I'm on X as well, but Rumble is the only area so far that I don't get my videos deleted.
Excellent. And let's go with you. Ozien.
Okay. Yeah. Oz, if you want to. I'm doing an after show on Matters Now. You can follow me on Twitter at Ozien Talks, or I have a YouTube channel, Ozien Talks, also, but I haven't been using it. So we're doing an after show right after this stops. It's hosted by somebody's helping me out with Matters Now. So just check out Matters Now. I'll be there in a few minutes. Thank you so much. And Flat Earthers, whatever you believe, are all welcome.
Thanks,
we have
Dave.
Christians that come on, and
you can head
Muslims all come on.
Okay, and is Ozien Richie from Boston on Xanax? Somebody asked. I don't know if that's...
Richie from Boston on Xanax?
I don't think that's true.
I had a tattoo artist that was high on Xanax who did my tattoo on my back, and he tweaked out in one spot.
Did you get it for free?
He said he wanted to finish it. He did like $500 work for free. And I was like, really? Do I really want to go back and get $500 work for free for somebody who tweaked out on Xanax?
No.
And Craig, say goodbyes.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. You can find me at YouTube channel FTFE. I stream a few times a week, normally debating flat earthers and going over other scientific claims. To the flat earthers, thank you very much for the conversation. And as both of you did serve in the military, thank you for your service.
Thank you so much, you too.
How very kind of you. All right, guys, it's been fun. We will be back. There's lots of debates this week. We've got Thursday. I think FTFE will be back here for a classic, whether or not an ice hockey rink, is it flat or is it curved? That is actually the topic of the debate for Thursday night. And on Friday, we have, I believe it's Flatzoid against Jesse. Are going to be doing Friday's debate. So busy week. Keep your eye out. We will see you guys soon. And I think that's about it.
I need context. I might want to do a debate on biblical cosmology against Flatzoid too. So.
Okay, well, you can definitely do it here if you want, or elsewhere, whatever you feel good. All right, guys, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here. See you soon. I'm not going to play an outro tonight just because everybody's in a rush. We will talk to you soon. Thanks again. See you next time. Peace.